We're recording now.
Are we sure?
Welcome back to This American Ride podcast, where we talk about issues that affect you, the average American.
What's up, and welcome back to the podcast. And we're gonna get this thing right, man. At some point.
Or you don't trust Bert with buttons.
If you say so.
We're gonna get this thing right. We decided to throw an extra wrinkle into this episode of This American Ride because we have been talking about having guests for a long time. And yeah, obviously we've been talking about having Stacey and Carolyn on. What people don't know is we actually built a guest list of people who we want to have on the show.
I think were we drunk when we did that?
We were very drunk when we did that.
Explains how I'm here.
It's a great list, but I don't even know how to get a hold of Rogan.
There you go. I know. I'm sending that guy an email. But hence the as drunk as we were, because we did that probably after recording a podcast
Or two. Yeah, it was.
We came up with this guy as our first guest.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, we knew that if it was a total cluster and there was all kinds of issues, I mean, we weren't really worried about his feelings. So,
Oh man! So this is Bry the biker,
What's up?
or just Bryen.
or just Brian.
I like Brie. I think Brie's better.
You like Brie, like the cheese?
It's a little cheesy, but I can
I
do
don't,
it.
I don't think the podcast world knows the inside joke on that one, though.
Yes.
We'll leave it be because I feel like if you know it, you either know it or you don't.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Some things are better off left legendary.
So what is it? Is it Bryen R. Ford?
Yes.
That's your
There you
full
go.
name. I just put that out
You
there.
just
for
put it out there. Now
everybody.
people are going to be stalking
Can I
me.
get an address and a social
Give me my
security
social
number?
security number? It's 5.
I want to know what the R stands for.
Robert.
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 Is it really?
Mhm.
That was a total guess, but I mean,
I was hoping it was Reagan, but
I mean, there was a whole bunch of really unimaginative white women around that time frame that were just like naming kids.
It's named Road.
That's it.
Brian Road.
That's it. My uncle is a Robert, and his middle name is a Robert. So he is
Robert
or his
Robert.
last name is Robert, and his first name is Robert. So he's Robert Roberts. I don't know what my grandparents were thinking of. Yeah, they did that. They got a Robert Roberts. So he's
Seriously.
he's Uncle Bob, and all his buddies call him Bob.
So weird.
I think
And he
people-
listens to this podcast, so that's great.
I feel like people name their kids and they don't think like past the first 5 minutes of it.
That's it. But he does listen to this podcast, and I know he does that because he left us a rating and a review on iTunes. So if you're listening to us on iTunes, you're listening to us
Thanks,
on
Bob.
Spotify, leave us a rating, 5 stars or good stars.
Yeah, so we actually put we put it out there the last time. That we wanted to get some comments, some emails, and we got some emails.
Mm-hmm. We got a couple.
And if I haven't replied to you yet, I will. I apologize.
It's very busy.
By the time this airs, I will have replied to whoever emailed us. I promise you that. But thank you for those suggestions, or just the guy who didn't even have any suggestions, just wanted to say you guys are doing a great job and whatnot. I think he was the first email, so he gets the merch.
When the merch comes out, he's getting
when
merch.
the merch is created.
Wait a
and
minute, you
is
guys have
existing-
merch already?
No, that's the point. But we did promise some
Oh,
merch.
okay.
But there's no
Yes.
actual merch yet.
Can you be a
We're working on
YouTuber
it.
without merch and stickers?
Well, this is not. We're not. This is.
Oh, it's a podcast.
We're not
My
YouTubers
apologies.
here today. See, we're
Podcasters.
very adventurous here in the podcast world.
Well, I'll tell you what we don't have is we don't have a gift for you.
No.
So we had thought about, the guest coming on and getting the gift, but since you are the dry run, you were the guinea pig. That was one of the balls that got dropped, I guess.
Well, so what no, I wouldn't say the ball got dropped. I would say what we were hoping was that you could tell us as a guest on a podcast what you would like to receive. And that way our future guests can get that.
I was hoping a hug.
Well, we can do hugs later, but that's kind of a weird gift.
I don't know. I mean, I
This
think Sean Ryan's got the gummy bear, so you have to come up with something different.
Yeah, I don't think we're making gummy bears.
I love gummy bears, man. I want some Vigilance Elite gummy bears.
Well,
They're hard to get.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we do have a lifetime membership that we could probably get some gummy bears out of.
True story.
But that's for another day.
True story. That's for another podcast.
I bet you could hand out like
This
leather
actually
gloves
might
or
be the
something.
right podcast for that. Actually,
It could be. I feel kind of like we should have Sam though. I almost feel like we should have Sam for that one because Sam is the person who sent us on that goose chase. Before we get derailed, because I feel like
this guy does not know how to turn his
I can't even believe
phone
it.
off. I am just so unprofessional.
Oh, this is a great blooper reel.
We're not turning this off. We're gonna keep talking. You go handle your phone call, and we'll hold down the fort
So,
here.
Bert, what do you say I move into that chair? I'll take
Just move
over.
over here. We'll get some. You were dealing with freaking that guy from the West Coast that you were trying to do a thing with, and I'm dealing with this guy, and we just so many problems. You're a problem. You're a real problem. Did you need to take that? Was that important?
No.
Okay. So
You think that's a problem? Middle of my 40 slide presentation on ball cancer.
at least you finally got a movie reference. I'm so proud of you.
Bry's like, wait, ball cancer?
I'm not watching another PowerPoint presentation on ball cancer.
What movie, Bry?
I have no idea.
No, finally met somebody. Finally met somebody who can match me and not having any idea what movie it is.
Not
So
a
disappointed.
Not a movie guy.
I'm a movie guy, but I'm not like pop references are just dead on me. Although I did hear that Taylor Swift is actually making football great again. So that's
Yeah. It's great. It's really good for the sport. I mean, there was only like a couple hundred people that even knew about the NFL before.
Yeah, and there were
Taylor
even
Swift.
fewer people who knew about Travis Kelce, who's got a couple of Super Bowl rings. And
But I guess the question
Hall of
is
Fame.
when she quits him, will the ratings go down?
It'd
Will like
prob-
women
it'd probably be
demand?
better. Well,
Because I'm a Swiftie.
oh no, are you?
He is not.
Oh God.
I'm not even gonna let you sit here and spin that yarn.
More of a
So,
Leonard Skinner. Guy.
Brian R. Ford,
Oh jeez.
who are you? Tell us about
am I?
yourself. And I'm not even gonna do the thing like that happened before, the unknown thing that happened when there was no record button going. I'm not gonna jump right into the part that you hate. So tell us about yourself.
I grew up as a small child in an African village. No, probably not. Let's see. Who am I? I grew up in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. I grew up professionally. I'm currently in IT. I cut my teeth as I'm doing the gate thing. You hear that?
I do.
The gay thing?
Gate.
We haven't explored that yet on this podcast, but if you want
Stop
to
it.
do the gay thing, I mean,
We'll get there.
wait, why are we gonna get there? We're not supposed to. That was a joke. I don't want to get there. We are recording now.
We are recording.
Oh
We
man,
need performance
That is-
slides for that.
that has been a problem.
We knew that was going to be good. Ben Salem, PA.
Bensalem,
Yeah.
PA.
So you lived in PA and Jersey, and that's it.
Yeah.
So you grew up there. How long before you came to Jersey?
We've been married 6 years. So, yeah, about 5 years, I think. 4 years.
So you spent your entire life over there in PA until just about 5 years ago. Okay.
Bensalem's ridiculously close. So I probably only
Yeah.
moved like 5 miles as the crow flies. But,
How was your childhood?
it was my childhood. We grew up in an age where you had BB guns and bow and arrows, and life was fun.
It was a normal childhood then?
Yeah.
We were outside,
Yeah.
last of a generation.
Parents
We had
married,
yep,
divorced,
parents were married.
still?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, you had bows and arrows. You didn't think about going and doing any massed shootings or anything.
Play in the woods all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Remember that?
Yeah.
Wrist rockets and all the good times.
Wrist rockets, man. How could I forget wrist,
Wrist rockets
rockets?
are awesome.
Did you have a
That's
wrist
an-
rocket?
is that another gay reference?
Believe it or not,
This
no.
is- this-
A wrist rocket is a slingshot that braces around your wrist. Yeah, no, now you know.
I know.
The best part is you put hard
did not
candy
have
in it, it
one.
would explode when you hit something.
I did not have one.
I actually
I was an army brat. We didn't have money.
I picked up my Red Ryder BB gun. It was at my parents' garage. I was cleaning out my
Yeah, I had a
parents'
stick
garage.
gun.
So we used to wear like kitchen pots in our head. And when you got pegged in the head with one of those Red Ryder BB guns, you got the bing.
Or pots on your head.
Yeah, well, you could hear the ding.
But what changed?
Yeah.
Like what changed in 50 years that kids now, like they don't get the
Technology,
simple
man.
time? Oh, technology's fucked everything.
Yeah, we did a podcast on this, and technology is a crazy thing, man, because it's had such amazing benefits, but it's had some really bad benefits, or not benefits, but bad effects on the world we live in. Do you want to talk about technology?
Sure, that's what I do.
Okay, go
it's
ahead.
my space.
Is it your gig?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
work in the IT world, and that since what it is 25.
He said it's space.
It's my space.
So,
It's where I
very
work in.
I can't. IT is not my thing.
I don't know. It's my thing either with the check cash.
I gotta tell you, man. Every time I call IT, they instantly piss me off and they say, "Can you reboot it?" Well, yeah, I've already rebooted it 3 times. Yeah,
But did you
Fourth
unplug
time.
it from the
Yes.
wall?
but I need
Did you
to
wait 5
7
seconds?
seconds and then plug it back in?
What? Come on, man.
It's a thing. DirecTV did it too, so obviously it's a thing.
And you know what? It never works.
Well,
Has it ever
buys
worked?
them time to transfer you to a
Yeah,
different
it buys me time
department.
while I'm Googling. Like, what the fuck am I doing?
So do you actually ask people to reboot stuff? Is that the kind of IT you do?
Occasionally, but that's an imaging issue.
So, man. So you're not a Mac guy.
I'm Mac guy, not at work though,
Ah.
which is really weird because Mac is what I've adopted personally. But no, we're all IT world, so I make my money in the IT world and I spend it at the Apple Store.
Oh, there you go.
You know,
There you go. Because most IT people I know are in the same camp as this guy. I hate Mac and I love Android.
caveman.
And right. And I don't understand why when I send you stuff it looks weird. Well, it's 'cause it's an Android.
So I'm currently locked out of my work phone,
Your iPhone?
which is an iPhone. That wouldn't happen to my Android. I would just get back into it. But this is a massive process, and now I basically don't have a work phone until I don't know what I have to do.
Clearly it's your fault.
It's telling me I have to wait 3 hours and
Oh
try
yeah, they don't
again.
play with that. It keeps
You
going
know,
up.
Did you put the wrong
So-
code in or something?
Yet I have it written down. It's not the wrong code.
You
I
think
have
1,
it
2, 3, 4,
written
5
down.
would be hard to get wrong?
Okay. And then I have every code that I've ever had for it written down, and I tried them all, and none of them worked. So did you make up a new code for me, Apple?
Let me ask
Or
you.
did you shoot me an email when you change my password for me? Just let me know.
Let me ask you this. Did you try and reboot it?
Listen,
Have you waited 5 seconds before you reboot? Power down, count to 10.
Did you do a hard
listen.
reboot?
I'm not my parents. Okay, I could set the clock on the VCR, and I play enough.
Does he still have
I'm
a
not an
VCR?
IT guy. I'm not a tech nerd like you two, but I play enough in the phone computer world to like freaking know how a password works. So you're telling me my password that I said is not my password. I don't know what to do at this point.
You are kind of like your parents in one way, though, sometimes.
You don't have Face
I
ID?
can't wait to hear this.
You go through these phases where you text in all caps.
Listen.
I text in all caps? I
Listen.
don't ever text in all
No,
caps.
no. In Discord, you've got all caps.
Well, that's because people don't understand. And I've explained this 100 times. So who are the slow ones? I've explained it a million times. I'm using the Discord actually on my work computer.
Oh.
I have caps on because what I'm working in requires caps. So when I switch over to Discord, I'm not going to uncap type because it offends you guys. Like I've explained to you, I'm not yelling at you, Tartbox. I have caps on for work.
What kind of job do you work in that requires caps on all the time?
Excel a lot. I'm in a lot of Excel
Oh, I
stuff.
fucking hate Excel.
I hate Excel too, but
Oh, Excel hurts my head.
Excel is not. I don't like Excel at all.
Oh,
That's tough.
I'm forced to use it and know it, and yet I don't know that. Also, I know the basics, but Excel's not fun.
I was trying to do a
So
spreadsheet.
technology, how did we get from a generation like us who grew up outside and did things and then turned around and raised a bunch of kids that were just polar opposite of that? You know, like how does, and I don't have kids, so you guys have kids, so you guys can,
I think that
Kinda.
we missed the demon of it. I mean, technology. I mean, we're all creator in the creator space. I mean, it's a time suck, right? You. I think with our kids, especially, right? So you get like, dad just divorced. So you give your kid an iPad because then you can FaceTime him. Well, what's the first thing you do?
yeah.
He's on YouTube. Then he's here. He's playing games. You know.
But we also grew into, so think about it, like we were like latchkey kids. They said, right, you came home from school, your parents were still at work or whatever, you were on your own for a while. Yeah, then we really grew into that stage where we had a lot of single parents.
Yep.
Right. So they're trying to work, do things, they're trying to occupy their kids. And then here came technology, which was perfect for the parents because they're like, here, play with, play with this iPad, play with this phone, whatever. And they started spending so much time on it from a young age before they were even allowed to be outside alone playing.
Yeah.
And that just became their play. That's what they played on. And all kids want to play with other kids, but when you can just play with other kids online and meet people online, like my son, even my son, just from playing Madden and things online, knows people that he calls friends that he's never met other than online, right? But then they just become that's how they
the crew.
That's how they connect with other people, and you stop actually going outside and connecting with the neighbor's kid.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they just all their fun, all their playtime, all their socializing, social media is on the couch.
I think too, the internet's opened up addiction, right? Because the internet never ends.
Yeah.
And I think with video games back in our day, right? You play for a while, you got bored.
Yeah.
And then after a while you'd go outside, but now it's just never ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, and video games have changed too. I mean, you would play a game and you would beat a game, but now you have, games are completely changed to the fact now, like first-person shooters and Call of Duty, where I know a lot of people, I haven't played a Call of Duty campaign, and I couldn't even tell you how long. I just go online and, play some games with the guys that I've been playing with for years. And likewise, OG Black Ops, I guess I started.
Oh, that was
online.
a game.
Right. That's when I started playing online, and my brother-in-law got me into it. And there's two guys, one who I've met a bunch of times, Will, and my buddy Chris in Minnesota. I mean, we've been rolling together on Black Ops for the better part of, I don't know, I guess like 12 or 13 years now. It's crazy, which, not having grown up with video games, you would think is kind of strange, but it's, it's like I've known those guys a long time. But it kind of blows apart a thing of friendship that I think we had from our kids. I've always had this theory, especially growing up in a mixed bag of towns like, I grew up in Bronze Mills, is friends aren't always the ones who are best. They are sometimes the ones who got there first. And I feel like we always have these people who, and I've got a couple of people who they're just not good friends, but, they're still around. Like I don't hang out with them all the time, but it's, we all have those people who we kind of hang out with who aren't necessarily good friends, right? But
how are you defining good friends?
I don't know. I guess it's a good question. I mean, somebody you can trust.
So you have friends that have been friends with you forever. They're the old ones. They were there first, but you don't trust them.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust.
Yeah, I think there's different
really
circles.
friends?
Yeah, I mean, there's different circles of friendship.
There are different circles of friendship, but I feel like maybe
There definitely are different.
Yeah. I mean, definitely different. I mean, they're not people. If I was broke down, I'd call them middle of the night. They're not people who, if I was banged up and needed a ride home, that if they did pick up the phone would probably come get me.
Well, I feel like
what I mean.
In that circumstance, that's probably usually going to be the people that you're closest with at that time in your life.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be.
Like I would assume that if you broke down in the middle of the night, you're probably going to call me.
Yeah, if you pick up the phone. I mean, probably I'll call Carolyn, who will
pick up the phone.
Would he be able to help you though?
Who, him? He would be able to help.
Okay.
He would help.
Didn't see him showing up in a little tool.
He would be. He probably would.
Like back in the day of the jumper cables and toolbox.
You gotta do a little, just take in the room. I'm the manliest one here, dude. All right, come on. You guys are both gonna try to fix it with your cameras. You're gonna why won't my iPhone fix this
I would
truck?
get on YouTube and search it.
You
with your iPhone.
You can roar all you want about being manly, but you can't justify your manliness with your ability to fix shit. Let's pump the brakes. Pump the brakes.
I'm comparing it to this room. I said this room.
I could fix them. I fix this audio equipment all the time.
Man.
Are you suggesting just because I don't have calluses that I don't do a real job?
No, I didn't say that.
Because I would. I mean, I'm just saying.
You know what is fixed right now? The light switch in the bathroom. When you go in there, you don't have to turn on both switches to get one light. You
What bathroom?
This bathroom right here in the hallway. You never noticed that before?
No, I can never find that switch.
Oh.
You go in there when it's dark and it's in the weirdest place on the wall, and I'm rubbing down the whole wall.
But you ruined the fantasy for the listeners because you're supposed to think of this big epic studio like Mr.
I'm
Beast.
just trying to figure out now. I know where all the fingerprints on the wall came from.
Yeah, me trying to find it in the dark. Like, what the what's going on here?
My
Anyway,
office is like
I'm
that.
still the manliest. Anyway.
But we are Gen X. I mean, I guess the joke was we were 30 when we were 10, and now that we're pushing 50, we're still 30.
Or 10.
Isn't that weird? Because I feel like the older I get, I don't feel like I change.
No, and I've had this conversation with my mom.
Mentally.
She's like, your body's old, but your mind is.
Yeah.
You Carolyn, you and Carolyn just had this conversation. We were just having this conversation the other day with people you ran into at a bar, and you were, I guess, it was talking about relationships, and you guys were 20 years older than them.
Oh yeah, she was talking to those young girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like there was. Okay.
I wasn't saying.
Oh, I was going to say, I feel almost like it's Gen X. That's the you tend to gravitate towards that. Because I know, like, at least on social media, I'm not a big Facebooker, but everyone I know that I went to school with is either living their life or they're acting like they're 90 years old and posting memes about how they're unstable when they put their clothes on. I'm like, you're 40, you're in your late 40s and you're acting like you're 90. Then again, that's Facebook. I think that's what it draws. But
We talked about that. That's like
it's boomer book.
It is kind of boomer book, but it's like it's such false advertising because it's like this little clip of
Are you
snapshots of
suggesting
people's
on
lives.
social media that people don't live the life they live?
It's not real.
Oh, come on.
Although some people do perpetuate misery, like their life is always terrible. I feel like.
There's no like just happy middle ground on there. It's like either you have the most amazing life ever, or your life is so terrible. There's no like just like today was great. Some days suck.
Mm-hmm.
Some days are great. Love my wife.
But do you think that's
like every marriage, there's issues, like I don't try to pretend, everybody wants to pretend like there's no issues in their marriage, or it's like the complete opposite. And you have to hear about all the craziness that's going on in someone's marriage. Like can we just like rein it in and just be a little more even keeled?
And it's weird too, because if I didn't know you guys via social media or whatever, right, I wouldn't know anything about that. I think that's what fucks people up is if I'm posting that stuff, now you know it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back in our day, you wouldn't care.
Right.
The Johnsons, they got divorced. You might not know it.
Right.
Well, now
Or you know
there's marital problems on Facebook when the husband starts posting pictures of himself with the kids without the wife, and then the wife is posting like the girls' night out stuff.
And they're both working out and getting in shape.
Yes, and everybody's
All of a
lost
sudden,
weight.
everybody's fit and eating
I
salads.
thought it was always like the memes, like I had the best wife ever, and it's like, oh, I had the best husband ever. You're trying too hard.
Yep, I'm telling you. But yeah, it's
It's one of those things. Like sometimes I'll have to say to my wife, like, you don't say anything like nice or post anything about me. And she's like, well, I'm not putting that. Like, I'm not trying to be fake and put that stuff out there for everybody. I'm like, once in a while, just say something.
man, I know it's just a personal thing now. It's like,
But don't you think though too, it kind of invades your space? Like private people, if you choose to be private and not online, it's almost impossible.
But we didn't choose to be in a private realm. I mean, we're on YouTube,
That's true.
we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on whatever these platforms are for this. Like,
I wanted to delete Facebook.
we've kind of lost the privacy aspect. I mean,
but there's still private stuff though.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's like what?
we
We're
still
in a Discord where like these people
yeah.
know everything about us. We talk about our daily life.
yeah, but they only know what you tell them.
That's
right?
only a select piece.
I mean, I get crap from Carolyn because I just brought all these strangers into my house.
That was pretty funny.
For that one, the first
Good
time we
time,
did the ride, and I brought all these random. She's like, "You just brought these random strangers into our house. They could have killed us." I'm like,
We had a good time.
"They could have," but we just ate pizza and drank beer and then left.
Just be glad they left.
Well, that took a while.
Well, that was a process.
Apparently, I had a bed and breakfast the last time.
you did.
People were crashing in my driveway and by crashing,
You know it's
I mean
bad
crashing
when-
their bikes.
You know, it's bad when Moto Noggin calls you and you pick up the phone. He's like, "It's Rick." I'm like, "Who's Rick?"
Who is Rick?
He's like, "It's Noggin." I'm like, "Oh, hey."
Is that Moto Noggin's name?
Yeah.
No idea.
Is his name Rick Noggin?
Please tell me his name's not.
Is his name Rick Noggin?
No, his name's not.
So
Noggin.
where'd the noggin come
I
from?
have no idea.
All right, well,
Where'd the beard come from?
Do I have to explain that to you?
Yeah, but my channel's not called The Beard. Like,
All right, that's fair.
sometimes people do weird plays on their names for their channel names. A lot of people do that. So you never know.
Bry the Biker.
Yeah.
So,
It's also my Pokemon
what a
handle, by the way,
segue that
too.
was, right? So now
I'm getting good at that stuff.
let's talk about something that you said you didn't really like talking about, and that's
me?
your, as George would say, your YouTube footprint.
Oh,
Let's talk about that. So what's going on? What is your channel, and what are you doing on there?
I have no idea what I'm doing. I show up. I post
Don't be
videos
coy.
occasionally.
We don't like when people do that. They
No,
act like they don't know what they're doing, but they're really
I
killing
would like
it.
you to be treating me as a hostile witness, but all right. So let's see. So my channel, I guess, started going seriously about 3 years ago.
And it's called Breathe the Biker.
Yeah, Spray the Biker. It's cheesy, but you know.
BR.
Hey-o!
You got me on that one. BRIE, the biker?
No, it's BRY the Biker.
Okay, Bry the biker.
Bry the Biker.
Short for Bryen.
Yes. I just, I don't know.
I just want people to know what they're getting into before they come to your channel.
I think it's really funny. People spend a lot of time marketing and they come up with these logos. And Steve from Indie Ridge made fun of me because my logo is literally a Premiere transition. I put it together and that just stuck.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And he gave me shit the one night. He's like, "You're seriously telling me you made this in Premiere?" I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Being a Final Cut Pro guy, I would never have guessed that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. There you go.
But sometimes, I don't know. I didn't think about what the next 10 years would look like. I don't think about branding. So
You can always rebrand.
yeah, but do I want to? I don't know. Would I be Breathe the Biker? What would I do?
Mm.
I think it would be interesting though.
So we
Like
can brainstorm on that.
you brought up like Jeremy Sayers, Tony Cox. I think that would be the way to brand because then you can do whatever the hell you want.
What, just your name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you do it in a certain space, then I feel like you're obligated to stay in that space, which I don't know. I think after a while, especially motorcycles, like what else can you do?
Yeah, it's
Sooner or later, you're going to run out of shit. I mean, you can only upgrade your bike so much.
well. I mean, we know people that don't just have one bike and don't just stick with one bike. If you buy a new bike every 4 months, you can upgrade all you want.
Also
yeah,
true.
but is that is that really what
It
you want to
works.
do?
I mean, for people that want to see bike content, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, I'd like to get positive at some point, some sort of positive equity. I did like that though, especially a couple years ago during COVID. It's like, I'm going to go and buy a XYZ bike for content. So you're buying a $20,000 bike, a $30,000 bike to make how much on YouTube?
Hey.
But everybody's got their thing.
Don't crush people's dreams, Bry.
It's,
Maybe they blow up to 100,000 subscribers.
it's
We
funny.
could all hope.
It's so talking about YouTube real quick. I want to talk about something that grinds my gears. Oh, look at that! There he is.
Oh wow!
Because you brought up.
Wait, can I do it?
Huh?
Hey, Bert.
He's
He's coming across the table.
I know. You brought up making money on YouTube, and
I thought Bry brought that up.
did you bring up making money on YouTube?
Yeah.
So it's ironic that like how people think. Like I don't know what people think most YouTubers make.
I think people
There's-
are delusional.
There's a handful of YouTubers that I know who are under 100,000 subscribers, who are full time, and in order to do that, they have to have a number of revenue streams. And I think that's what people kind of lose sight of, because if you're going to do it on YouTube ads and alone, like people, they have no understanding of how any of it works.
No.
Because
Well, it's not their fault. I mean, if you're not involved in it, you wouldn't know how it works.
You're right. It's not their fault.
They
Like
just have this weird idea of how it works, but they don't really know.
right, but then it's like this the assumptions that come along with that kind of drive me nuts. Like I want to start a YouTube channel, and because I want free stuff.
Yeah.
Like so,
We know the hierarchy, right? You have to come up with a name. You have to buy stickers. You have to get a merch store. And you have to email companies asking for free shit. Then you put the video on.
There you go. There you go.
It's all about the free shit.
Well, nothing's free.
Oh, nothing's free.
First of all, nothing's free. We have gotten very, very little over the years, I feel like, from vendors that didn't require a commitment from us, and mostly like a substantial, time commitment of recording, editing, promoting,
But it's free.
and like kind of like what's that time worth that it would take. I mean, it's easy for you to go out and shoot a YouTube video and we come up with a topic and talk about it and then we're done. But for you to get something as simple as, I don't know, floorboards from somebody, a simple part that would take you 10 minutes to put on, you've taken this 10 minutes of your day, you've turned it into 40 minutes of shooting video, into a couple of hours of editing video, into then editing a thumbnail, and then somebody making the thumbnail. And like we have two of us, so I haven't made a thumbnail, and I don't know the last thumbnail I made. It was like, I'm terrible with it. And he's good. Like he's got his template. Like he cranks out like 5 options of a thumbnail. You like this one, you like this one, you like this one, and he's a lot faster at that than I was when I was doing a lot of thumbnails. But to be one person and doing all of that, things become definitely not free.
I think it's too much of a time suck.
Yeah, I don't think people think about what goes into it. They don't really. Again, if you're not in the space, if you're not doing YouTube, if you don't have a channel, you're not creating content, you don't know what goes into it. So it's hard to. I don't want to like knock those people, but they're just naive in the sense of thinking like, it's just you're making these videos, it's easy, and you're getting free stuff, and you just want free stuff. Well, no, it's a trade-off. I mean, it's a trade-off. Like you're promoting someone's product, they're giving it to you to create your content. You're both getting something out of it. It's not free for anybody, but it works for both parties.
Correct.
And I don't know why people are mad about it. Like,
yeah, but I also think at some level it's lopsided, right? Don't you ever think that you give me XYZ part and I basically became your marketing department?
Well, yeah, I mean, and you have to, and again, it's one of those things, right? When you're a small channel, you're willing to jump through those hoops and do that stuff for the free product, for the content. And as you grow, you'll start to set limits on that. We've done it. We were at the point, one point where we were happy to have free stuff because it is content. Like it is something to put out, it's something to do a video about. It's kind of not brainless, but it's like we don't have to think of an idea. We now have this product. We're going to install it. We're going to talk about it. It's content, and we got that out of it, and we were happy to have that, and we would go above and beyond for that. But then you get to a point where you're like, all right, I'm not just here to get your little free product and then be your marketing department, like you said. Now there's becomes like I'm adding more to the table than maybe you are with your, so like now you're gonna give me something more for it. Like it becomes a point where it's like you're not just taking the free product, you want more than just the free product.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe a payment, finance, whatever. Like there's more to it.
That's a hard point. That's a really
But I mean, anybody that's growing will get to that point. You just got to figure out what point you're done, jumping through hoops for people's free product. Because when you really think about it, a free product is so like cheap for them. It's like it's not a big investment on their end. When you consider what they paid for this product,
they budgeted for it.
Yeah, and again, it is. It's a different world we live in now. That's advertising, right? They've budgeted for all these content creators. That's part of their budget for the year. They give this stuff out to go get all this advertising that they would have to pay tons of money to an advertising agency to do.
Yeah.
Right? And you probably do better because this is the people using your product in real life are the ones that are now pushing your product to people that use your product, as opposed to just some stupid commercial that's just like really out of touch with the consumer. So
yeah, right. Yeah, so the idea is that you're getting a more honest opinion,
right? But people that actually use it, it's just not like some commercial that a company made.
Yeah. So a couple of things about that. One thing I feel like on Baggers and Brews, products that we have done installs on, if you run into us, those products are on our bike.
Well, yeah.
And that's kind of like, that's something that I think we've tried to stick by. If it's not something that I want on the bike, then
I think we promote products that we like and that we want on our bike
that we use. Yeah.
And then there's people, you do you, but there's people that'll just do it for the content or for whatever. If they're a bigger channel for whatever that company's paying them aside from the product, they'll do the video, but then it comes off and they put something else on there. Like, because they don't really love it.
Yeah.
It's just either content or they get paid to do it.
Yeah.
So we're not in that.
Yeah,
we're not in that level.
We are though in a way. And Bryan doesn't either. This, I mean, I'm not going to talk about like specific vendors, but I made a call to a vendor about a project, and they were like, and I said, well, here's what we have done, and to get from point A to point B, to get what I wanted from them, and to get what they want from us, I actually had to put together a sales deck.
Yeah, see,
but I appreciated it because they had a budget meeting coming up, and I put together a sales deck with everything that we had contributed to the brand. And if they turned around and they were like, at that point, if they were to say, yeah, we can't do that, and I'd have been like, all right, I did my due diligence.
Okay.
Gonna try something else. But they didn't do that. They came back, and I think they were reasonable.
No, they were. And I will say that I don't think we are where we are in subscribers, size, whatever, reach. I don't think if we like quadrupled overnight, I don't think if we had 200,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers, I don't think we'd ever change the way we interact with these companies as far as loyalty.
No,
I think that's just kind of who we are.
No,
unless you kick me to the curb or give me some bad interaction to where I would fall out of favor. Like, I came to your company or I used your product because I liked it. And you gave me a chance, like, especially when we were smaller, you gave us the opportunity and gave us stuff and trusted us with your product.
Yeah.
So there's some type of loyalty there. I appreciate what you did for us. Hopefully you appreciate what we did for you. And I'm not just going to be like, jump to another company that does the same kind of stuff because maybe they offered me to pay me more.
That's fair. But I think there's also a time, though, too, when you kind of grow out of favor, right? You can love something and then something better. Suspension's a classic example of that.
Yeah.
Sure. There's a lot of stuff with motorcycles. I mean, you like things now and your taste changes, or there's just comes another product that you like even more. Doesn't mean you don't like that one, but I like that one better.
Or maybe you want to try something.
Or you want to try something different, especially if you're doing content. Maybe you need to switch things up. Maybe that stuff's getting stale, but I don't think, like, we're never going to just, like, do any of the companies, like, dirty that have been, like, loyal to us or good to us. I shouldn't say loyal, but just been good to us, and have given us an opportunity.
Even if
just because it's just not right. I mean, there's some morals in it,
it's a balance, though, right? Because the bigger you get, you want to try different things. I mean, to me, the lighting on my seats, my bike's not coming off. The suspension, the exhaust is never coming off. Realistically, right? Because I paid for the tune. I bought the exhaust myself. But I think there's some things like seats, things like that, windshields, you could flip-flop around.
And those are also things that you can use multiple of,
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to be loyal to one or the other. There could be multiple seats that you like for different things.
I mean,
around town.
if you look at like a Fortnite channel, he reviews things, but that's what he does. It's not necessarily what you'd see him in, but to your point, the stuff that I truly believe in, you're going to see me in. Right. Stuff that I'm just reviewing, I don't know, you might not.
Yeah, I think the bulk of the stuff that we use are things that we would pay for.
Yeah,
because we like them, and that's what led us to that company. And then since we would do it anyway or wanted them anyway, we reached out and we've established some sort of relationship. So, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. We were all fun talking about people wanting free stuff.
Well, but George had a good point, though, too. Have you ever run in? I know he did. I was shocked. Your headphones are still on. My apologies. But did you ever notice that you can get like a big company and you reach out and you ask them for something and it's like, yeah, no problem. Or maybe they follow you. That's the coolest thing when you know who you are. But then you get these smaller
something you posted, right?
These smaller companies and they're like, well, we need to see analytics and we need to see a media pack. I'm like, oh, it always turns me off.
I think I'm only guessing that that's because they don't have the same budget to just give this stuff away. So they want to be like more picky with they want to get more out of it, so they're pickier with who they're giving it to, hoping, I think, to get people
Or
who
is
have
it
bigger numbers, you know?
Or is it they don't know what they're looking at?
It could be that too.
Because I've talked to a couple of people where you're not really sure that they even understand it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been with us and Baggers and Brews and all the different people we've been involved with, or companies we've been involved with. It runs the gamut of people who are like, they got their crap together and know exactly what they're looking at, know your channel better than you know it. And then there's others that have no freaking clue, but they're still working with you. They still give you stuff, but they don't have any clue like what you're bringing them, because they don't have any way to track it. We have people we deal with that we love, that we use their stuff, but they don't necessarily we don't have a code or a link, right, to give to people. They're giving us product, tons of product, expensive product, but they don't have any way to really tell
To see what they're
what we've brought to
allowed.
them.
Well, did you see? I don't know if you guys have YouTube Premium, but they're now doing media packs on YouTube. So you can build a media pack directly out of YouTube.
So I signed up. I signed us up for that this week. A couple of things though that
We didn't discuss that.
To unpack that we're talking about. I come from a different world, so I mean, one, as a musician, you aren't playing in a bar until you had a demo, so you had to have some kind of a pack, right? And in the sales world, like, you need to be organized. You need to, this is what I'm coming with. This is what I am. This is what I offer. And, if that's good, then that's fine. If it's not, maybe we can talk, or maybe we can't talk. But setting those expectations, and I feel like that's, one thing, it's setting the expectations with a company that you're approaching with. And I think the other thing is, like, most people are like, oh, how do I get to work with companies? How do I get to work with companies? Well, you've bought all this stuff. You have stuff on your bike. Everybody has stuff on their bike. Do some videos. Do some videos and products that you've purchased. For free. Do them.
And preferably because you like the product and believe in it.
Thank you. And even if it's not, even if it's not necessarily, say, a vendor who you're going to approach, do that, do that review or do that install on something to show them that you are capable of doing that type of content, that type of material. And that's a thing. And, we have our package that we offer people. I'll pull back the curtain a little bit.
He's pulled back the curtain on his package. This just got weird.
Pulling back the curtain on my package. One thing that we do is we do product photos for everything that we do.
Now, everybody we know on YouTube is going to be out there with their iPhone taking pictures.
No, you're not throwing it down like he is, let's face it.
Let them. It's good for them. Like, let them. I mean, it's just not, it's something that it's an art form. It takes practice. It takes a long time. And I still feel like there is an element of luck and the planets need to align to really get a banger, to really get something that is wow.
But do you think sometimes that has to do with space? Because if we look at the channels that are big, big channels, I feel like you could give them anything and the company would feel they're getting a return out of it. Where the smaller channels have to really
work harder.
Yeah,
because I mean they just automatically have more eyes on their stuff.
Yeah,
if they have 200,000 subscribers and they get an average of 50,000 views on a video, every video that comes out, I mean, they're automatically getting that reach that the companies basically want, right? So if you don't have that, you do have to work a little bit harder.
You do, and that's why we started doing pictures, right? That was like something that we could offer them to,
and they love it.
Yeah, they absolutely.
They really, I haven't seen, not one of them yet didn't have that kind of reaction, like, wow, these are awesome, because nobody else does it. So he takes these great pictures and we put a video out about their product, but then he also sends them these pictures that they can use for their social media. They can post them on Instagram or Facebook or wherever they post crap.
A lot of them have.
And they do, and they love it.
Now, have you run into anything? I ran into this yesterday, where somebody took my content and used it for their advertising without asking me. I don't think it was maliciously done, but it's like,
I feel like
we got into, again, I don't want to talk about vendors, but we got into a situation with a vendor where they were like, I I need you to send me your raw footage.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. Well, what do you mean? We sent you this product.
Send it to him in C
And
line.
and you did, and I did exactly what I told you I was going to do. Because I'm very like you. Even though you set expectations don't always convey, and we've had this happen on two occasions with vendors, where the expectations that I reviewed with them did not translate to practice. You know, they were not happy with that. And I said, I'm not sending you a whole video. I mean, it's on YouTube. That was the deal. Like I said, I'd send you photos that are not watermarked, that are not copyrighted, that you can use at your leisure. But we never discussed you sending a video. I said that's a different. Like me sending you my raw footage is a completely different conversation from a monetary standpoint, honestly, than you giving me product and me doing a video for that product.
No, not to Louise. Bigger company, smaller company, because I feel like the smaller ones are the ones that make those demands.
It was a smaller company, but the representative they had did not like. She was I don't know. She was not. She was newer in the YouTube space, and this was I couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
It got testy. It was one of two times with a vendor that it got.
I would love to know. Again, we're not saying names, but I'd love to know.
I almost think I know
if others did give that, because it was a company that pretty much gave this product to everyone in our world.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if everybody else was just like, yeah, sure, here, or if anybody knew.
Here's the thing, and we struggle with this. Sorry, bro. We struggle with this a lot. Like, what is, and all creators that are like growing, I think, from that 5,000 to 20,000 kind of, space, struggle with the fact, like, what is my reach's value? What is the value of what I'm giving you? And I think it's really hard to put a number on that. I think that there is a lot of channels. I think there's 100,000 channels with over 100,000 subscribers that are not, just because you get product and then you sign up for an affiliate program. An affiliate program, it's one thing to get views. Views are a third of it, right? The other third of it is clicks. And then the final third of it is conversions. And by conversions, I mean sales, right? So there's three pieces to an affiliate program, to you basically getting the product for free and then working on a affiliate commission, which in our space ranges anywhere from probably 3 to 15% of the cost of a product. So I honestly think that there are channels out there that you might get 10,000 views from a channel with 100,000 subs. Like, that's good, but does that 10,000 views then translate to how many Brothers products sold?
Right.
And I think that number is much lower than people would be led to believe.
Yeah.
You're
talking about products, and I feel like it's a great time to segue into that little button you can hit over there.
It is. So let's take a quick breather here. Let's refill the bourbon and get a message from the sponsor of this podcast.
What's up, everybody? I just wanted to take a minute to tell you about the sponsor of today's podcast, Legendary USA. Their selection of leather and denim jackets, vests, gloves, chaps, and riding shirts are 100% made in the USA with a lifetime warranty. Legendary USA isn't just about style, it's about quality.
You know the story there, right?
With American-made products and a commitment to excellence, you can trust that you're getting gear that's built to last. Legendary USA isn't just for bikers. They have a full selection of shirts, hoodies, EDC, tactical and survival gear, all made here in the USA. And here is the best part. Legendary USA is offering our listeners an exclusive deal. When you shop at legendaryusa.com and use the promo code LegendaryPod, you'll get 15% off on your first purchase. That's Legendary with a D and pod for podcast. So why settle for ordinary when you can be legendary? Click that link in the description to head on over to legendaryusa.com to explore their fantastic range of products and use the promo code LegendaryPod to snag your 15% off discount today. Now back to the show, and thank you for Legendary USA for supporting this podcast.
All right, we'll just wait for Bert to roll back in here.
Come on, you blew the flow.
There he is.
This wouldn't happen if you were on Rogan.
Much lower. You guys waiting for me?
We did, actually.
Oh, come on.
Good times, a lot of fun.
Oh.
All right, rolling back in. All right, so just thank you to Legendary USA for sponsoring this podcast. Make sure you click that link. It does help us out a lot. And check out the products they have to offer. It's more than you might think. It's more than leather. It's a lot of stuff. It's watches. It's knives. It's cool hats.
Yeah, and it's an American-made, products, and the owner is cool, down to earth, normal dude. So it's just an all-around awesome company.
So, people say, like, what do you look for? Like, when a couple people have asked me, what do you look for when you're working with a vendor? One, it's got to be a product that I like and would want to use. That's number one.
Right.
Number two, might surprise somebody. I actually have to like the person I'm dealing with.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
you're
working with them.
It's so important.
Working with them, yeah.
It's so important. It's a lot of work. Creating content is a lot of work. It's fun.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's a good creative outlet and stress relief, which we will segue to in a minute. But I feel like because of that, I don't want it to be more work than it has to. And that's it's a big deal to me.
Yeah, you don't want every issue along the way to be some sort of bone of contention and just constant like struggle.
Yeah.
You want it to be smooth. Your interaction with the people you're dealing with, you want it to be easy. Mm-hmm. And we've been pretty lucky with that. I mean, again, there's been a couple here and there, but they've not necessarily been the ones that we're stuck like hardcore with.
Yeah.
There's been a few, we've tried that weren't great, but for the most part, the companies that we really work with have pretty good people.
And good people. I mean, people who, believe it or not, like, not only do I follow their company and Instagram, but we're like, on my personal account, like, I'm friends with
their personal account.
I'm friends with their personal account. Like, we've become friends, and that's part of the great thing, of social media that has allowed us to do. I mean, listen, let's be honest. We're sitting here with Bryen right now.
The biker.
We would not know each other had it not be for social media.
Yeah.
True. So tell us more.
That's social media? What am I telling you? Man, I didn't even see that coming.
Man, you gotta be quicker than that. So, but it is a good stress reliever, right? It's a good creative outlet, and my next segue is we are here in Movember. I'm rocking the.
Oh, you got stash guys.
I'm rocking the stash.
And Bert really did a great job for only being 13 days in.
13 days in.
Nice.
I could have started at 16 and never got
It's
that.
like, I think your lighting is off. It looks really gray. It's actually brown. I don't know why it looks gray on the camera.
It's brown.
Toenails.
What happened?
It's gray.
No. No,
It's the lighting.
Salt and pepper.
I missed it when it was dyed.
Salt and pepper.
Listen,
you know what I've learned is that you people, all of you guys, can suck it, all right? Because you all have an opinion. It's like, oh, it's so gray. And then somebody dyes it, and you're like, oh, you look like an idiot. It's so dark. And then you go back to gray, and it's like, oh, Gandalf the Gray.
I guess the thing, though, is why are you listening to
I don't know. I'm not
See,
really
this gets
listening.
back to the whole
that's true. Why are you
dealing
I'm
with
hearing them, but I'm not really
bugs.
listening. Does that make any sense?
It's like the people that'll argue with you about what you buy or what you ride.
There's a
I thought your comment was
90% of the
funny.
people out there in the world just want to push your buttons.
Oh, they want attention. That's social media.
They want to push your buttons. They want to get a rise out of you. They want to ruin your day, whatever. Even people like we know and like, that's just seems like that's.
Do you remember that first moment when you put out a video and people started turning on you?
Oh man,
or had
How
those
long
negative
was it?
comments.
I feel like it was a while.
Turning on you?
Not turning on you, but they start with the personal attacks, and
We get them now. I love it.
yeah, now I kind of
No,
feel
it was a
it.
while before we got them.
It was a
Because,
while.
again, like we always joke, like you haven't made it in YouTube or whatever until you got hate
Oh, absolutely.
comments or hate mail or whatever.
Somebody watches you like a hater.
You know,
I feel like it was a big deal. We got our first hateful comment. I was like, we've made it.
we're actually, and you and I have talked about this, and I'm very proud of you because you haven't stolen it and done a video yet, and we're going to do this soon. George doesn't know that, but
Oh yeah.
we're gonna. You might already have this recorded because maybe you did steal it and you are a scumbag, but.
Just happened.
I'd
like to execute my Fifth
I'm
Amendment
reacting
right.
to your faces right now. But that is we're gonna do the Baggers and Brews reacts to hate comments.
Hate comments, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a brilliant.
I mean, we
idea.
can get a good chunk out of the one video.
Oh my God.
That's Sturgis video. We can go through there and we can pull out just a million.
We probably
comments.
should just do Baggers and Brews reacts to Sturgis comments.
I mean, I'm down to do that. We need
Yeah.
to do that. Now, it's way off track here, but we need to do that. You know, with me
I'm going to do that in my
vacation, we should
FedEx
do that.
video.
I have never seen so many people who spend more time watching YouTube than they do riding a motorcycle tell me how I'm not a biker. I love it.
Yeah.
But what is
I mean,
like?
What is a real biker? We did a video on that actually.
That's
If
another
you-
one with some good
If
comments.
you went to that
man.
video, you would actually learn what a real biker is.
There you go. That's another
you probably
video. We
didn't
got
watch
some
that.
hateful comments. It's
and tell me you didn't watch that video.
it was an old one.
That's probably all.
It was an old one.
Probably about what George is heating and cooling.
Listen, I don't have a script for that video. That video was
That was good stuff.
interesting.
We have scripted videos, man. We've flocked
We've
videos.
done a few, yeah.
We've scripted some videos. We've done some notes, but
Sometimes you gotta acting.
Somebody acting.
So anyway,
But yeah, people,
back to Bri the biker.
people. So what do you do? What do you do? And YouTube could be that thing, but like, what do you do to like de-stress from like work, from life, from craziness?
I like music. Music's kind of a go-to thing. I think the thing I like writing, and I know everybody breaks my balls about not videotaping that or videotaping. I show my age, filming that. But I feel like when you do that, you kind of take away from the safe space. Like when I went to your ride, I didn't film it. I wasn't worried about being there. I was worried
Tell us about how awesome that ride was.
that ride was amazing.
Let everybody know about that ride.
It changed my life. It really did.
Makes you wear a full face all the time now.
and I do realize that I guess where I'm still kind of stunned is I had a Dunkin' Donuts shirt on and they thought that we may have been representing a different breed of people.
That's great.
Oh, that was rough.
That's great.
But don't you think that? I mean, because that's the thing that I think with social media that I guess what I don't personally get, because you're saying the installs, right? Installs would be so much more fun to sit in your driveway. You install it, you don't film it. But
Just drink some beers or something and just
or heckle Bob, whatever it takes.
have a friend, whatever, do it together. Like
Like Frank comes over and we were doing stuff. That's fun. But I feel like what I don't want to take away is from my riding. I mean, we went on that 13-day trip and we filmed a lot, but I feel like it takes away from it.
you're not the only one that feels that way.
It's kind of like,
I mean,
it's the camera
that's a pretty
running.
common
We don't always film
take
when
on
we're
that.
riding anymore.
We don't always. But here's the difference, I think, with us. I think our channel was born out of the riding videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of what got us started. So it's kind of hard to just like totally just stop doing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does certainly. And again, one of the probably reasons we're not bigger than we are and have took off quicker is because we weren't great at it, because we do get sidetracked with enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
There's been plenty of things we didn't record that we're like, why didn't we record that? That's like that. We should have recorded that, but we do get caught up in the group that we're riding with, socializing with our friends, all of that stuff, and the ride itself. So I mean, it's definitely
Plus, you
it's
don't
hard.
like the camera in people's faces
Yeah,
all the
I
time.
mean-
and people who probably hang out with me would be like, George, you have the camera in people's faces all the time. But I really don't.
Not as much as we could.
Not as much as I could, definitely. And like this weekend, we went up and we met our buddy Bob and his wife Darlene, and we went to a brewery that he's bought us beer from a bunch of times, and had a chance to go out to dinner with him. And I looked at my camera bag when I walked out the door, and I left it right there. I said, if something happens, maybe I'll pull out the iPhone. But
yeah, well, you always have that.
Yeah. So, but I mean, but even then, like I didn't like I was gonna do like a reel or a short or something at the brewery, and I just left.
Just wasn't.
I left it where it was, and I feel like we all had a good time.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't that kind of vibe.
Yeah,
for sure. For the young kid term vibe. It was just, we were really just wanting to hang out with our buddy and his wife, and it was kind of a thank you for him because he's been a huge supporter of the channel and done some awesome stuff for us.
And he always comes down here, and it was just nice to go up there.
And he lives far, but he comes down here like he doesn't live far.
He actually found my bike.
So.
Did he?
Well, he found it after we found it, but it's really fun. He sent me a link, and he's like, I found your bike. And I'm like, really? Because if you call them, there's already a deposit on it, which is mine. I thought it was really cool. And then he went and physically looked at it, which I thought was amazing.
That's cool. Because he knew it was two-tone. It was two-tone, so it had to be
what dealership?
Garden State Harley Davidson.
Cool dealer.
Good folks.
Yeah.
Bobby, I think it is the owner. He owns Williams, too. They're very nice to me.
He used to own Costco, too, and they shut that down.
Did you say Costco?
Costco. 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 Oh, Kosco. Costco.
So not like the big box store.
Not Costco. No, it was Costco. It was, we actually rode by it when we were coming back on Route 23. It used to be like right by the bend.
It was just a dealer?
It's a furniture store now, but like right when you're coming down 23 to get on 207, the Costco was there. It was a cool dealership because they had a cool museum, but honestly, there were two guys that worked at the parts counter, and they were just tool bags. So that caused me not to go there a lot.
That's rude. They were just nice guys trying to do their job.
Yeah, they were tools.
Now, how do you feel though, like when you're out? Like your ride's a classic example of that. Do you feel that it takes away from it? Because if you're in the YouTube space, then somebody's filming and you're not, and then it kind of jumps into your privacy?
I don't really care. I mean,
what?
Like,
I don't understand that question.
Like if somebody's filming and I don't want to be filmed.
Yeah, like sometimes I feel like that.
Who's ever filmed this from the video?
I feel like I'm doing more filming than anybody. I guess number one.
I'm just curious.
I feel like if something happened, that I didn't want on camera for some reason. If something happened that I didn't want on camera, I would ask them not to put that on camera and hope they'd be respectful of that, as I would be, of them.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, we put some pretty drunk people on camera who were on a bus at a rally, and
I didn't care about those people.
Who knows if they saw themselves, but
they were on a drunk bus.
They were too drunk to object. But again, for everything that you see, there's a lot of stuff obviously is on camera that never sees the light of day. But it's I guess I don't feel that way because I'm in the space. People definitely get weird around the camera though.
Yeah.
And I mean, so did we.
People that aren't around the camera normally, like get really weirded out.
Yeah. And people don't know, like, there's been plenty of times that I've talked to people and asked questions on camera and then that didn't make it into the video. And it's just like, it just didn't flow. Like, it just didn't. I mean, I think I've gotten better about that over the years, but like, when I started this, I was like, if I can't tell the story in like 5 minutes and 30 seconds, it's not going to be on there. And
I mean, you guys have a bigger space though too, but I find it's just kind of weird. It's like, to me, it's almost imaginary. It's like,
what's the camera?
No, it's like my channel, right? Like it's an outlet. I enjoy the creative space, but I don't think of it as being real.
So let me ask you a question.
Oh, getting set up.
No, just a question because you're talking about your channel. So when the COVID time or whatever, you said that was kind of around when you started your channel, like a lot of people did. When you started the channel, what did you want to get out of it? Was there anything, like, did you think about like what you wanted to get out of it? Or was it just like, I'm just gonna, why did you do it?
I was doing video production for my job and I wanted to learn. And the thing that I thought is if I put a GoPro on my bike, I mean, that GoPro is for, it'd be something I want to edit, something I want to learn on rather than doing food products is what, we were doing in that space. I never really thought about it going from there. Like I said, even with the branding, I didn't think about what's it going to turn into.
Right.
And to me, it's still kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it is crazy. It's not still. I mean, it kind of boggles my mind that we're talking about, you're right. People are coming up to me and they're looking at my bike. They're like, oh, this is this and this is that. I'm like,
yeah.
And they've seen your videos.
Yeah, like you guys watch that? It's kind of weird.
I would think that we would both say it's still odd when someone comes up and is like, "Oh yeah, Baggers and Brews, and we want to watch your stuff." Like
you were in Ocean City.
It's
when
like
that happened?
I'm like, this is That's crazy. Thank you. Like, it's just, it is weird. It's awkward because you just don't, I don't know.
I find if I don't make it weird, it's less weird. And I feel like in the beginning, it is kind of weird. And I feel like when we were in Ocean City, and I'm gonna call Eric out on this one. I don't know if he listens to the podcast or not, but SJ Bagger. And before we knew him, he was like, "Oh, I saw you guys, and I didn't want to come bother you because you were, having drinks or whatever." And we're like, "What are you talking about? Like, come say hi, But that Ocean City was kind of weird because people were definitely looking at us who knew us, who didn't like come over and say hi, and I think that's weird.
Yeah, they didn't want to be rude.
Don't just whatever, man. Like I'm putting out YouTube videos. You come shake. Well, most people are just like, "Hey, I love your content."
Just keep it normal, man. Real quick. If you don't want to hang around, you don't want to be, you don't care that much. It's just like, "Hey, I watch your stuff. It's good, whatever. Thanks," and walk away. And if you really want to be involved, you could be more involved, but like it doesn't have to be that weird.
Do you think that that's the TV effect? Because we grew up in a generation, like if you were on TV, I don't know what it was like for you, but like when the news stations showed up, you're like, "Oh my God, that's XYZ." And now it's kind of weird,
I
right?
think so. Because that's what Carolyn says. She's like, they feel like they're watching you on TV, so it's a much bigger deal than it really is. It feels like a much bigger deal than it really is because they're watching you on TV, because that's like TV now, right? YouTube is TV. So when you see these people that you watch and you follow, and I was there, like I was that way with Adam Sandoval, when I actually went up and saw him at the dealership, whatever, I had that same feeling of like, I was like in awe, like he's just, celebrity, he's not really a celebrity, but if that's what you watch a lot, then to you, it is a celebrity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird too when you meet them in real life and they're different than you perceive them to be. Or maybe they're small, or maybe they're short, or maybe I don't know. It's just a weird thing.
Well, that's one thing I think we definitely try to be like when you watch our YouTube channel, like we are who we actually are. I don't think we act that much different. I mean, you get edits. You get edits
all the time. So I just am what I am, and then you add alcohol and you get what you get. And my wife will tell you, if nothing else, I'm authentic. I'm just the freaking like act like I'm 15 years old all the time, even with her. Like
you come in with a suit. That was weird.
Almost 48 years old with 2 almost grown children. I act more immature than they do. So 100%. Like it's just who I am. Like that's just my mentality. I like having a good time. I like being silly, goofing around, cracking on people for fun, getting laughs. Like that's who I am on camera. In real life, alone with my wife in bed at night, she's like, "Why can't you be more serious?" It's just not who I am. Like, and I don't
just scream Lincoln bio.
And I don't ever. I mean, I would never put on like a persona.
Yeah,
it's just. And I know people do. I guess do you, but that's just.
Yeah, it's just I can always tell when I meet somebody who has a channel and that I've watched, a little bit, and obviously I don't watch as much YouTube as people might think. People who know me know I don't watch a lot of YouTube because
I hate watching.
The more you edit, the less YouTube. The more YouTube content you create, the less you watch. And I can tell almost right away when somebody is not who they are, and that's me. That is weird. I can't how do you put that up? I mean, and that's always been my advice to anybody who's starting a channel. You never know where your channel is going to go. You never know how long you're going to be making videos for. Is just be yourself. Yeah. And I mean, put out the best work that you think you can put out with the equipment you have and the time that you have, and be yourself.
Yeah. I would love to have 200,000 subscribers and have a lot of people know us. I would love to have that, but it won't come at the expense of me like not just being who we are.
Yeah.
Our connection, our chemistry. Yeah. That's our channel, and I would never be like fake and phony to try to get to that level because it would just not be. It's just not who I am.
Well, I think personally, it's kind of hard to turn on something you're not.
Yeah.
Right? If I become a caricature of who I am, then I've got to turn that on.
But it's crazy to think that people do that and can do that.
I mean,
right?
I get it.
Yeah, they do. I mean, hey, there's people who use podcast voice for an entire podcast.
Welcome
and,
to VR.
and I just can't do it. Like we're sitting down doing a podcast.
Every Friday morning, it's the best. Turn one of my office.
You have a great radio voice, and I'm like, it's just my voice and a little bit of
Well, it's just our voice
magic
in a more relaxed setting,
Yeah.
I think, and like focusing on just talking into the mic, whereas we usually don't have to do that in the YouTube world. We're usually just
looking
like
at the camera.
looking at a camera, or maybe we're just not even paying attention and we're recording, and sometimes the audio sucks because we're just out in the world doing it, and now you're in like a controlled space, so there's no reason for me to be super loud. You know, you have these on, you can hear me, you know, so it just comes across a little more sultry and subdued.
I mean, and the other thing I feel like is people don't understand. I feel like when people see you film a video, they're like, that was kind of weird. But the camera tones down the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Oh,
There
100%.
is no enthusiasm flattener like a camera. So you have to be like, hey, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Because when you say it like that, what comes across on camera is like, hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel.
And if you say it super low key and calm and subdued and not energetic, you come across as being like so flat and boring that they're like, okay, click.
But,
and then you got 7 seconds of view time because they were like, this guy.
But there's a fine line between being too over the top and it turning it on enough that it comes across as it should.
I think if you're genuine, if you have if you're genuine personality that people like, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, quite honestly, and I hate to say this, but like, not everyone can go have a great YouTube channel because not everyone has the personality for it, right?
I think it's, yeah. I mean, some people are going to have an innate talent to do stuff. Do I
way
think,
better than us. Yeah, right.
Do I think I have an innate talent? Like, I mean, I've been a musician all my life. People are like, oh, you're so talented. No, I practiced a lot.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between having a talent to be able to do something and developing, habits and through practice.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that, I mean, if most people sit around and wait to do something that they're talented at, they're never gonna achieve really all that much. I was never a talented sales rep, most certainly. But
it's just got really nerdy.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just you fail enough at something, you screw something up enough, then you learn what not to do, or we had our thing, right? What was his name? Dan from Creator. I can't remember.
Creator Fundamentals.
Creator Fundamentals, right? Dan Courier was his name. And Dan's thing was, you need to do 100 videos, and in those 100 videos, you need to improve one thing, right? You remember this whole thing? It was brilliant what he did. You need to improve one thing every video that you do.
We haven't done that.
Yeah, we have a little bit though.
Every video.
But do you think though too, I mean, especially as the space gets bigger, that there's a lot of people like in the radio space, they're like shock jocks. Like there are videos that I can't watch because it's so in your face and it's such a caricature.
Are these that you're talking about, or is it in our field, or
some are in our field and some aren't? But I find like when you think media is that way, some of those are just like they're over
just
the
trying
top.
to think of like people that could be considered that. And I
like $1 Million Bogan is entertaining, right? But I can only watch it for so long.
It's like listening to an AC/DC record. Like I'm good for like
but
4 or 5 songs.
There's other YouTubers that Potato Jet, not in the space, but Potato Jet. He's a technical
camera geek.
I don't know.
Again, he's a little Asian guy who does camera review gears, and his name is Potato Jet.
And it's
two things. That's racist. And now I'm hungry.
Wait, I made you hungry, and I'm racist.
Yes. Well, racist was your Asian comment. Potatoes made me hungry. Don't get it twisted, bro. I didn't say I want some General Tso's.
That's what I thought. I felt like you just wanted Chinese food.
No, I was thinking, French.
This really is easy to derail.
It is easy to derail. I mean, it's just
I'm easy to derail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not like I called the guy Oriental. I called him Asian.
Yeah. But do you see what I mean, though? Do you don't get that from like that viewer fatigue at some of these channels?
Most definitely. There's a rare channel that I can like really binge and watch, and I mean, we all know him. I could watch as many Peter McKinnon videos as Peter's going to put out. I could watch as many Casey.
Are you a Peter Puffer?
I am. I could watch.
That's what they call his fans. Big Peter Puffers.
Peter Puffers, yeah. Bigger than Peter. I could.
Excuse me. There's something bigger than Peter.
Bigger than Peter, and yeah, his name's Casey Neistat. He's bigger than Peter. I could watch Casey Neistat stuff all day, and not everybody can, but I can.
Yeah, snooze fest, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a very, very small, like probably less than that, count on one hand of like within our motorcycle community, people who I watch everything they put out.
Yeah.
For the most part, I kind of pick and choose and based on topic or whatever, or I might just watch for a couple minutes and be like, I'm not into whatever it is you're doing today.
Yeah.
I might like you. I might know you personally.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of people that we know and met and are friends with.
Yeah.
And I still might I'll click on it. I'll give you a click and I'll start watching. But if I'm not really feeling it, whatever, I don't watch it all. There's probably less than 5 that I'll just watch everything they put out all the way through, even if it's kind of a boring video. And I don't know why. I can't explain why.
Yeah.
It's almost like just a loyalty, and it's who I like from early on or whatever. You know, Adam's one of them, and even his stuff, like some of his stuff that he does that's less motorcycle related, I might not get through the whole thing.
You fell off with the Jeep stuff and the ATV stuff,
and he's thankfully come back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I definitely couldn't watch his Jeep stuff. I'm just not.
I mean, two Kiwi riders from you now. It's just Mr. Kiwi Rider, of course, but like Mr. Kiwi Rider, like I don't know. Always got a special place for that guy. Like I will always watch his videos, and he has fun when he films them.
Yeah.
You know, it's
had some more serious stuff lately.
It has, but he's still having fun with it.
Yeah.
It's like moto vlogs. I can't watch moto vlogs. I try.
I feel terrible about it because there are genuinely people that I love, that I've met, that are great people that I want to support. It's hard for me to get into a moto vlog just because staring at like what you're seeing as you ride your motorcycle doesn't do it for me. So your conversation really has to be really good for me to get through it. And sometimes it's not. I mean, again, we're not all just amazing every time we try to, record something, right? So there's people that I love, that I really do, I consider friends, that I sometimes struggle to get through their video just because it's a moto vlogging video, and that just doesn't do it for me. It's not a knock on them. It's just for my personal consumption.
Well, I think there's channels that have a more of a personal connection than, like I do install stuff, right? You may never watch my channel again, and I don't know that matters. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? If you want to see a Mustang seat or whatever, and you watch it for that, maybe it's not invested in so much my personality. I guess it's because I feel like everything has its own little genre.
Yeah. Well, if you do a lot of your stuff is install stuff or product stuff, sometimes there's not going to be that kind of connection to where they just came because of that specific thing that you're doing, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because now it's like what your stuff is educational, right? And when it's educational, it's not necessarily going to be like a personal connection, but I just came to see what your take on this product was, or how to install it, So I mean, that's not a bad thing. No, you could still be a huge channel, and and those people might not be personally connected to you.
Yeah. And it's a line of stuff. I mean, even like when you see, I feel like even the big channels that we're talking about, I was talking about Casey Neistat, he doesn't put out as many videos as he used to, but on occasion he will do a product review, and his product reviews are off the chain. Like I wish I could do a product review like this guy does a product review, and it's usually like an unboxing or a first use or a first impression. It's usually not like the beat down, like raw, I've used this for a year type of product review, but they're just so creative, and he's just like
so creative. They're so planned out.
Yes.
There's 9,000 camera angles. Like I just think about the effort that goes into those, and that's why they only do one a month now, because like it's an effort. It's like a huge ordeal.
Yeah.
To do these and produce these, and they're hitting you at all these angles, and we're used to TV, right? And watching like TV shows and movies where like you get that. So it's like you don't, but when you're thinking about that as some random person, YouTuber doing that, and the work that went into that for him, to do that. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of Peter McKinnon or Casey Neistat, but I have because of, you telling me about them. I've seen their stuff and I'm like, holy crap, this is like next level production kind of stuff.
I mean, everybody tells you have to do content every week, right? But do you think that sometimes it's better to do a better, higher quality content than it is to stay on a schedule? Because people used to say schedule, but now I feel like it's just a crapshoot.
I have a different opinion on this.
Yeah, we both have different opinions. I feel like schedules are important up to like maybe 2,500 subscribers.
Okay.
I personally feel like schedules don't really mean all that much after that. It's just getting out the content, and we have always stuck to Tuesdays because just if it's not Tuesday, like we don't want it to be like not Wednesday or not Thursday. Like it was always like a regimented thing, that it was Tuesday. I feel like you need to be, and I think this is kind of where we differ. I feel like you need to have a level of consistency on YouTube that is like consistently consistent. All right. Because I feel like if you're doing once a week, the algorithm expects you to do once a week. Right. But then if you do twice a week and then you go to once a week, even though you're still doing once a week, I feel like the algorithm kind of punishes you. But we just went through a stretch from, I think, probably the last weekend, maybe the first week in October, last week in September. In October, I think we had 20 uploads.
Okay.
20 uploads. It's 31 days in October, bro. And they were...
You call me pro.
Videos, shorts, varied content.
Yeah.
Just on YouTube.
But I mean, YouTube is pushing shorts, so...
Right, so why wouldn't we?
To say shorts is not necessarily a negative thing. That's what they're pushing. So,
but still, it's 20 uploads.
It's 20 uploads.
I think if you tell like the average person doing YouTube that you need to do 20 uploads in a month, which I don't think you necessarily need to do. It just happened to be. I broke shorts up. We scheduled shorts. He did shorts. We had consistent content. We filmed a couple of beer videos. So we had 2 weeks coming out. If we have that beer content coming out. So, on top of that, then there was podcast stuff. So, as a brand, we consistently crank out a lot of content. And most people are not dedicated. I would probably say 90% of the people that, do YouTube, 95% of the people who do YouTube are not disciplined enough to do that.
But don't you think at some level, though, you get viewer fatigue?
I don't, because I
have no idea.
I'm just curious.
I have no idea.
Because there's a kind of
I feel like you're getting new viewers. Because my take, and this is where we kind of differ, is I feel like YouTube, what do they make their money off of? Advertising on your shit stuff, right? They want to advertise.
Yep.
The more stuff you put out, the more they can advertise. I feel like YouTube wants quantity. And I don't think YouTube gives a crap about quality as far as promoting and pushing your stuff in the algorithm. They want to consistently see you pumping out a bunch of stuff. They love it if you put something out 5 days a week, every week for this year. Like that's great for them because that's quantity. Now, I do feel like it's kind of like changed in the sense that they have been oddly pushing these shorts this year and the last year, which to me is weird because
I hate it.
Not only does it so you've had this long form video platform for so long and now you want to be TikTok and Instagram Reels, but you can't push advertising as much on those because they're shorts. They're 15, 20, 30, 60 seconds long. You can't push the advertising. So that kind of throws off it's kind of confusing, but I still believe, and I'll go to my grave saying that the channels that put out consistently and not just for a month, but like just over the long haul, the channels that put out a ton of content are bigger. They grow because they're just putting out so much stuff, and YouTube is like they can slap their commercials in there.
Yeah, I feel.
But I think you have to be consistent at putting out a lot. You can't just go for a couple of weeks where you put out a video every day for 2-3 weeks and then go back to doing your 1 or 2. I don't think you're going to see that growth. But I mean, I know we know people who put out a lot of stuff
and see the growth.
And have seen the growth because of it.
Yeah, and see the growth. I mean, that's how Casey Neistat got to 1 million subscribers, right? Is he put out daily vlogs every day for almost a year.
How do you do that if that's not your full-time job?
Well, that was his full-time job, and it's just
exactly.
I mean,
right?
that was the whole point, right? That Jeremy Cyrus was cranking out content in the beginning because he made this his full-time job.
It's still his full-time job.
Well,
and he slowed way down.
And he slowed way down.
It drives me nuts.
So,
but he does
like here's my thing.
Full-scale productions. I don't know if you watch his stuff, but like again, he's another one where like one short 7, 8, 9, 10-minute video has like 99 different camera angles, and it's like that took him a long time. If you've done videos, that took him a long time.
Yeah.
The average people that don't create stuff and just watch probably don't really realize it because it's no different than what they're used to seeing on TV.
Yeah.
But that stuff takes time.
It does.
And now
and it takes gear.
What would have taken you 5 minutes to do? Yeah. Would have taken you 5 minutes to do just doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Now took you 2 hours to do because you're changing angles and you're doing multiple takes and all.
And that's before you edit anything.
And that's not even counting editing. That's just the filming portion of it.
Yeah. So
yeah, for sure.
I mean, my thing with YouTube is, like we talked about, like going full time and that type of thing. But when YouTube switches gears and goes to this short content stuff, this short form stuff, they are bringing people to the platform. They are potentially bringing more people to the platform. At the same time, they may not be making as much on advertising as they would on a long form video, but they're paying the creators a fraction.
True.
An absolute fraction. When you look at the amount of views, now you had a short go viral.
Yeah, it's almost at 7 million views.
Almost at 7 million views.
Calm down, bro.
That's crazy.
Come here with that crap.
Hey, that may be the only thing I have. Just to let you know, that's what I'm going to throw out from now on. That was a nice video, but have you seen my 7 million views?
Have you seen my 7 million?
See my cat attack the FedEx man?
I know. It's like, oh, Jesus. He probably's like, oh, I didn't think about that. Coming next week on Bryen the Biker. The cat
I'm going to get Eufy to send me cameras. I'm just going to, every delivery, I'm going to photograph.
So was it the one that the delivery guy threw the box down?
Yeah. And he didn't really. So the thing that's really funny about that is I think FedEx drivers is a huge SEO keyword, which and honest to God, that's probably the first time that TubeBuddy's actually delivered. Because when you punch that in TubeBuddy,
we like TubeBuddy.
The thing goes nuts.
Do you pay for TubeBuddy?
I do.
Have you always paid for TubeBuddy?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I'm an analytics guy and I like playing with it.
We just started paying for TubeBuddy.
We did. I like it, man. I think it's helpful, very helpful. I think it's worth the money.
But I think it was the wording. I've been watching a lot of that. Is titling is a question, right?
It's so hard.
Yeah, it's 5 things you want to know about my bike.
Titling.
Yeah, it's 5 things you want to know about my bike. Did I make the right decision? It's open-ended questions. And that was the whole thing. Did the FedEx driver ruin my Harley Davidson package?
Open-ended questions.
Yeah, and the video starts where you don't see the package. So there's that. And it's it's 12 seconds. I mean, and that will be the only thing that ruins me is that my $120 security system is outrunning my R6.
Did that make you any money?
Yeah, it made like $450.
Okay.
Yeah.
Off of 7 million views, bro.
Well, I know.
But
that's so.
I mean, that's great.
It's such a short clip that
but 7 million.
He had 7 million views on a 10-minute video. He had a nice chunk of cash.
Yeah.
But still, that's a lot of money. But
if you look at it from the sense of what did I put in, there was no editing.
Right. And your channels had a lot of growth because of it, at least in subscriber numbers.
So let me ask you this: do you think that's good growth, or you can't control it?
We talked about this, you and I.
You got it.
So my channel's doubled in subscribership since that video hit.
Okay, and how have and I don't know if it's been long enough to really.
It hasn't.
But how have you seen a difference in views?
And no, because I don't think those people are coming back.
Right, and that's what we talked about.
However, what I think is really good is the let's call them second tier, let's call them first tier companies. We'll look at that and go, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
This guy had 4,200 views and now he's got probably going to be 10,000 by the end of
Does that giant number watching there help YouTube push it more? Maybe over time. I mean, none of us know.
And that's why
we all sit here and try to pretend
it's egotistical or not. But that's why I keep putting the tube buddy. Every time I hit 1,000, at 10, I'll probably stop. But I know, at least from the companies I've talked to, you either get people that know their shit and know exactly who they're dealing with, and I don't mean that in a sense of ego. I mean they know the space, they know what you're putting into it, or you get the people that have no idea and they're just looking at a number. I mean, how many you get this all the time? You get emails from like hair straightener companies because they think you can sell them.
We get crazy.
We get some crazy.
We get some crazy stuff.
I've been watching your videos and
yes,
they're amazing.
I'm a huge fan.
And they're not like tight. They're like the words aren't even in English.
It's a vacuum cleaner.
Do you know that the first time I learned what click-through rate CPM meant? You know who taught me that? This lady, her name is Azura Rudd. All right, and Azura is the director of marketing. I think is her official title for Zero 3D, and we used a bunch of Zero 3D stuff. So I was like, hey, we hit like, I don't know where we were like 2,500 subscribers. I sent them a email and was like, or actually they reached out to us and they made us part of their affiliate program from a video that we did from product that we bought. So they reached out to us. They put us, in the affiliate program, and then a while after that, I reached out to them, and I feel it was like a year almost after that. Right? I was like, hey,
we did not jump in to the stickers and product stuff as early as most of your friends.
Yeah,
I got new stickers coming in. I got shirts now.
We really didn't, but I had a conversation with her who. I called him up and I was like, I don't think this is going to work, because she knew more about YouTube. She knew more about Instagram, and she certainly knew more about my channel than I did.
Yeah, numbers wise.
And not only does she understand that stuff, but she can translate it into business and productivity and impact. And
but for every one of those you deal with, how many do you think aren't that?
I would say most are not that. And I would say the ones that think they're that, they want impact, but I don't think they, the only impact that they know is like through their experience, which may be consistent, may not be consistent.
Because that's one of the things that I was really looking forward to going to, we won't go to companies, but to sitting down with their marketing team and saying, okay, explain to me what you see on the back end. Because very lately I've done that. And I think it's interesting because a lot of these, I feel like you're either talking to somebody, like to your point, that knows the ins and outs and knows the long-term play versus some of the smaller companies that are just looking at a number.
I think the reality is, in the world we're in the motorcycle world that we're in on YouTube, I think all those companies are such small companies in the grand scheme of companies that I don't think most of them have a person like Azura who knows that stuff that well.
Yeah.
They just don't. I mean, they're just not that big of companies. They're like companies and they're some of the bigger companies that we think of in our world. They're not really that big of companies.
People think they're big because they see them around.
They're big in that space.
You see them a lot, but that's just because again, like the motorcycle world is a small world in the grand scheme of like products and stuff. Because think about how many people actually ride in the world, right? Or in the U.S., like how many people? There's a small population of people that actually ride motorcycles. So these companies that might be the bigger ones in that realm, they're really not that big of companies. They don't compare to other actual real big companies, So I don't think I think sometimes we're really amazed to find out that some of these companies only have a handful of employees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We feel like they're, because we see them, we see them at the rallies, we see their advertisements, we see them on social media. We think they're big companies, they have all these employees. No, they got like a dozen employees. You know what I mean? Like making it all happen at that company. We just don't realize that they're not big.
And they're entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They're living their American dream. I think probably Zero, I don't know. I mean, I'm just guesstimating. Maybe 30 people work for that company.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, one of the coolest entrepreneurs that we've had the chance to like really sit down and talk with and like not record it, like just sit down and talk and learn from, I think was Brian Clock.
Yeah.
Oh, that dude's amazing.
We had a great conversation with Bryen Clark.
Yeah.
Oh, that dude's amazing to talk to.
We had a great conversation with Bryen Clark. 12 people work for Clockworks.
He's got to be one of the most humblest people that you ever talk to.
He's a businessman. I don't know.
I mean, sure, he's going to be
humble.
a
Like,
businessman.
yeah, he's not a jerk, but like Bryen he's a businessman. The gears are always
super
turning.
nice dude.
Yeah.
Super nice dude, but the gears are
Definitely.
always turning. The mind is always going. Looking at opportunity is something he does every single day.
Yeah, you could see that just based on what it is his business does and what it like is known for.
Yeah.
But the connections and all the people in the industry that know and love him and all the connections and all the things he's gotten, like if you just watch their YouTube channel or whatever and like their tours of their facility and all the bikes he has from like famous builders who he's friends with and they gave him this because he's a cool dude. And like he's got a lot of connections. He's got, like you said, he's a businessman with a mindset. He's always turning and trying to figure out how he's going to make, a business or money out of something. Like he's definitely a smart dude. He talked to us for a while. Well, I was amazed at how long he talked to us because we were at Rally. There was all kinds of crap going on. We weren't even recording it, but he was just talking to us about like all this different stuff they had going on. And he's definitely a businessman.
Yeah. He's and he was good. And there was a product he actually asked me to rock a product on my bike that I have a product from another vendor on, and I said, well, this is why I like this one. And he's like, all right, I get it. He said, I don't have to be happy about it. He says, but I get it.
Yeah, and it's hard too because there's that personal attachment. Right? It's your brand.
It is, and it was his brand, and it's like that line of like this is what I like. This is why I like it. This is why I vouch for it. And how can I vouch for one that, you know what I mean? It's just like I can't, like I use like your windshields. To me, they're the best windshields on the market. He's got a number of other products that I think are absolutely awesome. I think his sheet metal is probably second to none. If you're buying a fender off a Clockworks, the only thing is you have to have it painted. But if like I was going to buy a fender and have it painted, I would probably buy it off Bryen because his sheet metal work is really top notch.
Well, do you think, too, that I think with some of these companies, that's hard because you want to be invested in the brand, but as they expand, there's some things you're going to like and some things you aren't. And I feel like they want you to be so invested in everything. And there's just some things that just don't work that way.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm not like, I'm just not going to be a walking billboard. And there are probably people out there who think we're walking billboards for certain products. I'm sure that there are people out there who think that, but we're really like, it's.
Listen, we get a lot of product for our bikes. And part of the deal is to do some type of video about it.
Yeah.
So when we get, as many products as an Advan Black has, right? And we have to return the favor and do the video. Like it might seem to our viewers like we're just, like pumping out Advan Black stuff and we're just little shills for Advan Black. But I mean, that's kind of the process, you know, like they're giving us the product for no cost. We're doing a video on it and we're doing a review on it and we're showing you guys like, again, we've tried to explain to our viewers, we live in the Northeast. If we lived in Florida, we could just do ride videos year round and go to bike nights and do those kind of videos. And, it's hot and warm the whole year, whatever. But we're in the Northeast and we have a long stretch of period. We have to find time to do content.
Well, if you're a real biker, you would just ride. If you were a real biker,
if you're a real biker, you just ride in the snow.
You'd ride in the
social
snow.
media
As we
bikers are all the same.
We learned recently that if you don't ride in the snow, you're not a real biker.
Straight up, a guy wrote that in a comment.
I rode my KLR in the snow. I mean, granted, it was
snow.
flurries, but
I'm like, you're from Virginia, bro. You're like, how much snow do you get? I know you get some, but not very much. You got flurries and you rode in it and you were like, I'm a real biker if you don't ride. We're up in the Northeast where we get like, 2 feet. If I'm not riding in my 2 feet of snow, I'm not a real biker. Way off tangent. I apologize. George brought it up. That's his fault.
But that's the whole thing, right? That's what the space has become, right? Because it's if you do social media, you're considered not pure. You're considered not
I think it's all
legit.
spaces, though.
Well, okay, but I'm just saying in our space where
Yeah, I think any space that you're in, if that's the one you're in, you're going to have this infighting of people deciding who's the real photographer and who's the real chef and who's the real whatever it is. Whatever space you're in, I think it's probably par for course because that's just people.
because it's funny because those are the same people. If you turned around, I'm like, well, you're not a real YouTuber. Well, what do you mean? I don't understand what the machismo of that is, right? We ride what we ride the way we ride. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't know.
So
If this were 20 years ago, no one would have that conversation.
let me ask the two of you this, and I was having this conversation.
It's no. The answer is no.
The answer is no. With another YouTuber who is not just in the motorcycle space, but he's also in the kind of 4-wheel drive kind of truck space. Do you feel that the product videos and the flood of product videos in the motor vlogging space has devalued the space to viewers?
Yes and no. I think if you get attached to a brand, meaning a channel, I think it can.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think it all depends on what you like, right? It's like watching the news. If you're going to watch one station, it's because you believe in what they say. And then you have channels that every week are changing helmets. You know what I mean? Because last week it was a good helmet, but now it's not.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is if you die on the hill of a brand, it can be detrimental to you too, because the brand eventually is going to run out of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just inevitable.
What was the question?
Do you feel like all the product videos? Because, I mean, let's be honest. There are companies out there who will give product away to people with channels who really, in my opinion, don't have any reach.
But is it reach or is it driving the SEO?
I don't know.
I'm just curious.
I mean, just by having
So
more
do I
people,
feel like it has killed the space? Is that what you said?
Yeah, do you feel it's not killed the space, but devalued the space? Like, do you feel like people are like, oh, here's another motorcycle video. It's another motor vlogger. It's another product video. Oh, it's another motor vlogger doing another product video. Oh, I've seen this video. I mean, as creators, it kills us because if you're part of an affiliate program, you know, I know that there's companies that have a lot of affiliates, and I would much rather work with a company that doesn't work with a bunch of creators, that works with a few creators.
What do you think the space would look like if none of us got any product from anyone?
I don't know. I think
how different would the space look like with no product? What would all the YouTubers in the motorcycle space be doing videos on?
It's easily half the videos in the space, I feel like.
What would we be doing videos on? I mean,
Ride videos.
So are we saying that the people want to see just ride videos?
No,
because we've done some freaking awesome ride videos that George has edited amazingly.
Flopped.
That we thought were going to be dingers, and were crap.
But don't you think, though, we live in a society, if you look at Amazon, people want validation. Either want validation, they're going to buy the right thing before they buy it, or they want the validation after. In the camera space, a classic example. You know, you buy a 35-1.8, you do all the research to buy it, and then you're still watching videos after the fact because you want people to be like, well, this guy still said it's good.
When I buy something, I stop watching the videos about it.
Yeah, but I don't think most people do.
I can't because I don't want to know that I made a mistake. Like once I pot commit, like
I think the reality is, and I mean
it's tough. This is a tough topic.
Right? Clean, wholesome, productive content doesn't do well.
No.
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
I'm just struggling with the fact that you said clean and wholesome.
Because you don't have pants on. And that, to me, is just odd that you would come to someone else's house and not have pants on.
And everybody goes to YouTube to see Bryen without pants on.
Hey, you saw what you saw.
What I'm saying is our best
bio.
videos, our biggest videos with the most views are controversial topics.
Got a little bit of hate in them.
And maybe not always just controversial, but negative, right? There's some negative connotation to it.
Well, that's where the space is going. It's views.
People like controversy. People like stuff that they can pick a side on and argue it, right? And and sadly, that's just and I don't think that's specific to motorcycles.
No.
I think it's specific to social media, and just humans in general. And I've said to him, like, if you pick one of these topics that's like one or the other, like you're either going to have people agree with you and they're going to type their comment about how they love you and agree with you, or they're going to type their comment about how what an idiot you are and this is why you're wrong.
Yeah.
And for us, either of those are fine. You're commenting and it's driving that, that what's it called, the interaction,
yeah,
right, and that's helping the algorithm, blah blah blah.
That's the reason the FedEx video blew up, because people were either like, this driver's great, or
he didn't do nothing wrong. That guy's an asshole.
And and you're arguing about whether the arrow's up or down. Right. I think if you find something, but the downside of that, and we've talked about this in length, then you get channels that only want to do stuff to trigger you,
right?
And then you start getting, you can't get out of that space once you go there.
I mean, it is, and when you see the rewards of one of those videos, like, of course you want to replicate that, right? We all want to grow and be big and have a crap ton of views. So we don't want to do negative videos. We don't want to do negative videos. We don't want to do videos bashing anyone or anything like that. But there is that fine line of finding a video that maybe is a topic that's kind of like, that has good debate, right? And do that video.
Happen by accident.
And then get people to be in that, comment section, with their opinion, right?
That's why we all do Harley release videos, right?
Right, exactly.
People fired up.
I can't believe nobody else needs to do Harley release videos anymore. Sorry, that's my best impersonation of that guy.
But here's my thing.
I love that guy, but that was the dumbest statement ever.
When people make those statements, I think that they're forgetting that everyone has an opinion, and it's I want to listen to your opinion, what you think about the new CVO. Then I want to listen to your opinion. I don't want to listen to somebody else's opinion.
Most people want to listen to opinions, and they want to be able to tell you whether you're an idiot for not being on the same line as their opinion, or you're amazing because you are on the same line as their opinion. Right. It's just the way people think.
And listen, we made videos that we thought we were doing the community a service when we did. See, look at him laugh, because we were getting ready to go to Sturgis, to the COVID Sturgis. 2020, right? Was it 20? It was 2020, and I mean, it was a real deal. Like, the town of Sturgis was having meetings to determine.
They weren't 100% sure they were going to have the rally.
They were trying to do the responsible thing, right? They were really trying to figure it out, and is really what justified to it. Like, can we not have the rally? Like, if we don't supply all this stuff and people still come, will be more of a mess, and we basically can't stop people from coming. It was
legitimate issues.
These were all legitimate issues,
because they could say we're not having the rally, but you could still have 100,000 people show up.
To
your town. You can't stop people from coming to your town, and now you still have to figure out how to clean up the trash and whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they still have an issue. It was a legitimate issue that they were trying to figure out, and they were having these weekly or whatever town hall meetings that were
like twice a month
on the internet, or whatever it was. It was on the internet. We could watch it here. We did watch it here.
We did lives about it.
Yeah.
On
lives about the lives.
We did lives while they were streaming. Like, we were doing live reacts and then reactions afterwards. I mean, it was because we were going, and we knew a lot of people who were going.
And we were trying to figure out, are they going to still have it? Because we were planning to go.
Well, in the meantime, we did a video titled "Is Sturgis Canceled?"
Also known as 3 Fat Guys in Lawn Chairs.
And my buddy Bert here decided to post that in a Facebook group.
Yes.
Straight up.
Not a Facebook group, all Facebook groups.
Straight up. He broke Facebook. I mean, the amount of viewers that we had from external outside of YouTube, the external views was peaked. And people didn't even watch the video. They were just like, you guys are assholes.
They were just commenting on whatever the title was of the post.
Those are the best comments. It's like people were watching my How to Get Gas on Your Harley video and pissed off. And I'm like, at what point are you Googling that? Or are you sitting on YouTube how do I put gas in my Harley?
That one did good for you, huh?
It did.
It actually did.
Where is that at?
It's 45,000, something like that.
Okay.
Putting gas in the Harley.
But to me,
it's one of those things that
it's hysterical, because why are you looking for this?
Right.
And then you're looking at it, and
because based on the size of your channel, it wasn't like all those people just loyal subscribers watching your video. you had to have like those people weren't subscribed to you. They had to have seen it, found
It came up in the
searched
feed.
it,
Yeah.
and were like, "Oh, let me click on it." I personally, if I didn't know you and it popped up about how to put gas in your gas tank, I wouldn't click on it
No.
because I know how to put gas in my gas tank. So all those people clicked on it,
But
but
it's
then
also
had
that
but then
thing,
had
right?
comments, right?
How many times have you gone to YouTube and you see a thumbnail and you go buy it again? Maybe the next day you go buy it. And then by like the 10th day, you click on it because you still can't get it out of your head. You know you shouldn't click on it.
Well, I think you probably think if you click on it, then it'll go away and it won't be there anymore, right? Like you click on it.
Also true.
Just to get it off of my feet. Once I click on it, it'll be gone, which doesn't always work, but go ahead with your story.
No, I'm thinking to your point, it's hard because if you, in my space, right, I do install stuff. It's evergreen. It's just going to chug. You're not going to bomb stuff. But when you get those videos where people want to argue with each other, it's amazing. I mean, you probably remember back in the day, a couple of years ago, like the community would support you. Like if someone get on and trolled George, like the whole tribe would come and defend George.
No, nobody was better than that. What's his name? Bike and Bird.
Yeah.
And Bike and Bird had Roadblock and Uncle Ken. And when people would give Justin some hate, they would
Light him up.
They would light him up in the comments.
Well, that's what we had said was great about TikTok. Because we could post something on we could post something on our YouTube page, a video, and you could get a whole bunch of people like ripping us on our YouTube page, and like all our subscribers that are loyal to us, the Discord people, whatever, they're not gonna go and like comment on their comment and say, hey, you're a jackass because blah blah blah, and these guys are great, blah blah blah. Like nobody defends you. On TikTok.
TikTok, man, the gloves are off.
TikTok, if the people that like agree with you and like you, they will go to bat for you and they will go after the people that left a bad comment and they will attack them. And then you have this giant thread off of that one because now they're all ripping that guy for getting on you. Like TikTok is like it's cool for that.
Sometimes even the video doesn't. Sometimes it's the comments. My Bogan video was like that. People were fighting amongst themselves. It was great.
Over Bogan.
Yeah, because the Australians
people are
crazy.
fighting amongst themselves, and it doesn't even have anything to do with you, and it's on your video.
Oh, go for
What's
it!
better than that?
Gold. It's gold. It's YouTube gold.
What's better than that?
But I mean, we had a couple of TikToks that like have done really, really well.
Stay off the TikTok.
Yeah, 2 million. I mean, nothing like Bry the Biker YouTube kind of well, but I mean, we've hit the 50K mark. Well, I think we're over 2 million on the one.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I mean, we've hit 100,000 on a number of them. We've hit, 50,000 on a number of them, and we kind of named them all. They all have nicknames. The big ones have nicknames, like Rev Bomber.
Rev Bomber, yeah.
Rev Bomber, man. I had a clip of this guy, and he was just hitting the rev limiter on Main Street of Daytona and hitting the rev limiter. Well, this was like, I should have put a trigger warning up before this because somebody at a rally revving their engine, man, it triggered some folks.
It's the anti-rally folks.
Oh my God.
That's all it is. It's the anti-rally folks. People that hate the crowds. And does your bike not work? Like the bike works. Why are you doing that?
Well, it's a Harley and it won't idle unless he revs it like that.
Sounds like me after
or that's
back
that. It's like, he has to do that or the bike's gonna stall.
Oh my God.
No, he's doing it the same reason I would do it.
What's your favorite?
Sounds good.
What's your favorite piece of short content that we've ever put out? What's your favorite short?
On YouTube,
like YouTube, like an Insta Reel, YouTube Short, TikTok.
I kind of like the Sturgis TikTok that blew up.
You like that one? That's not my favorite. It's good. It's not my favorite.
I mean, I took the video. So.
You did.
What do you like?
The guy at the Indian dealership.
That
with his head,
still cruising. And I love the one. I just wanted to comment. Somebody just posted like, once he sobers up, he's going to realize he wasted $50,000. I'm like, well, it was 10 in the morning. And that dude was bone sober. And we talked to the guy, and he was 100% sober, hadn't had a drink, and he's going to enjoy his bike, man. I mean,
he saw me with the camera, and he just started peeling clothes off, man. And then he went up there and he hit that shit bell with his head, and I was like,
he had no clue how hard that bell was.
And why is it that that's a thing?
What's that?
What?
Like they want you to ring the bell, right? That's your life achievement.
I don't think that's there. I think they think that you, as the buyer, likes that.
I'm ringing the damn bell. I
want to ring the bell and get attention. I just bought a bike here for whatever I did. I don't think it's benefiting them. I think they feel like people want that attention, so that's why they give it to you.
I thought it was cool to post a short of it just to build some excitement that I bought a bike.
I'll tell you what, man. We're not Indian guys. Neither of us own an Indian. We're not Indian advocates. We love our Harleys. This dealership did it right.
And they did, man.
They played the music as soon as someone bought it.
They had the AC/DC
They had like a DJ that pumped that music. It got loud. Everyone that worked there got loud, clapping. Like it was like they made you feel special that you bought a bike there.
Yeah,
and that's what I mean. Like, who's cutting that check for 20, 30, 40, $50,000 bikes? Like, who doesn't want to be made to feel special like that, bring some attention.
Funny you say that because
I mean?
when we bought our Rogue Glide, there was nobody in the dealership, not a single person.
I've had that happen,
and I was okay with that. It's like, let me get the hell out of here.
I had like 2 people in the dealership. I rang the shit out of that bell, and then when you bought your bike, like they rang the bell for you.
Yeah, he rang the bell,
and I was like, oh, that's bullshit, man. You gotta ring that bell.
No. Like, yeah, I'm ringing the bell.
When you spend that kind of money, you're out me ring the damn
My first
bell.
2 bikes were neither was brand new, so it was like they didn't even like couldn't care less. It was like get your paperwork signed and get you out of here with your bike. And I'm like, this one was brand new. This last one, I'm like, I am ringing the bell, and I don't care if there's 2 people in this building. I'm making a big deal.
It was anticlimactic because when we signed the paperwork, they were closing. So there was no like hype to it.
It works that way.
And then we went out to dinner and, we came back and the next morning there was nobody there.
You got to be that guy that gets there when they open and close within like 2 hours when it's busy, and preferably during rally season and there's like 100 people there. Cause that's this guy with the Indian, like this was in Daytona during Daytona Rally. There was a lot of people there. They had a lot going on because, they're putting on the hoopla. So like they made the excitement, and
I just don't know if I need every person in the dealership coming up and shaking my hand.
You're like an introvert though, like that.
Oh, I am.
Like a lot of people
I'm
are
into
like,
it.
Are into the
I just
attention.
put some food on your table. You're welcome. Like,
I don't know.
I spent 40 grand.
I was more interested in looking at the service records and finding out I had a cam, and they didn't tell them. They didn't advertise it.
Used junk. That's why we're talking about. We're talking about new bikes. New bikes, Brian.
Listen,
you have a 3-tone bike, and you're going to give me shit.
I have a 3-tone.
You do.
I have a 1-color bike.
Yeah, it's gold, it's black, and you got red on your calipers.
It's a gold bike. It's blacked out, and it's got red accents.
And I'm not paying your checks. I don't care what you do.
the red doesn't even go.
Paint
who puts
color.
Red, who puts red with gold?
One paint color. One paint color.
Who puts red with gold? It doesn't even go. What
does
are you thinking?
that?
What are you thinking?
I mean,
I like it. I like contrast. I think it's awesome.
who does that?
I like it too, actually.
I wanted a silver one like George has and put a shark face on the front of
He
it.
doesn't have a silver.
All right, well, it's gray.
It's gray, silver.
gray.
It's all the same.
It's gray. Gauntlet gray.
Gauntlet gray. Sassy.
Holy cow, we ramble on about social media for a
With a
long
lot
time.
of accent colors that aren't the right color because we work with some people that don't know what color his bike is.
Oh my god,
Gotta love them.
it's so tough. Yeah,
But
I've definitely.
I don't know what have you not covered that you'd like to cover before we
I don't know. This is
wrap
fun.
things up.
It was fun.
I mean,
man.
I could keep going. I mean, I might get in trouble, but I could keep.
We have a good. I mean, that's the whole thing about the podcast. We started this up just to have a good time and sit back and bullshit and really not have any rules and talk about whatever we wanted to talk about. And
I mean, I
feel like, and I know what you worry about with time. I feel like some of the bigger podcasters, some of the big names, they go when they have guests, they go pretty long.
Yeah, I don't necessarily worry about time too much. I mean, really,
I've seen like Cleared Hot podcasts. They'll go 3 hours.
that's what
Black Rifle Coffee Company will go 3 hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes it all depends on their.
I hate when it's a hard cut because you either get flowing or you're watching the clock. Like, how the fuck am I going to get to 60 minutes?
I'd rather wrap it up.
We
when
haven't
it
had that
feels like
problem.
it.
We haven't had that problem. I feel like 55 minutes maybe has been the shortest one, and that was just like a natural flow.
No, and the two of us just talking about a topic is pretty
And that's where I think it's good.
consistently about an hour ish, give or take 10 minutes. But when you have a guest,
Yeah.
the conversation can go a lot of different ways and last a lot longer. And then I don't really feel like any need to
Again,
wrap it up.
I have no rules. when it comes to a podcast. I really don't. Like, we did the YouTube thing, we did the niche, and we stuck to, like, we're going to do motorcycle videos, and we kept doing motorcycle videos. And here, you know what? I don't really, like, sometimes we come on here, we talk about politics. Sometimes we come on here and we talk about.
We love politics. Where are you at on politics? You like talking politics?
He's like, nope, I'm not talking politics.
Because I watched your last episode. And I was screaming at the television, not in a bad way. Politics is one of those things where I think it's just no win. And I understand why it's great for the media, because it's like we just talked about, right? If you argue with it, if you disagree with it, you're going to watch it longer than if you agree with it. Gets back to the YouTube space.
I don't know. I'm kind of mixed about that. And it's not necessarily like.
Why do you have to shoot down our guest? Like, he is
well,
an opinion.
no, I
He's
mean,
not allowed to have an opinion.
He's allowed to have an opinion. I'm
taking my mic and I'm out of here.
That's it. I feel like talking about politics. I like, especially when we do it on here. And Bert said it,
best.
You did in one of like the early podcasts. And I hate to give you that much credit because that's what happens.
That's all right.
But, I like to be able to, at least have the platform to talk about that, to let other people know, you're not wrong in the way you feel. Like, just because the media
and you're
tells you
not alone.
This is what's right.
That's my tagline. It's copyrighted.
Right? You're not
alone.
alone.
Oh, snap. You're not
walk alone.
No, I didn't say anything about walking because we don't walk on this podcast. But yeah, I'm not. My wife, I said this because, my wife.
That's how it came up, right?
Like, you're not gonna change anybody's mind with your tone and the way you say things. And I'm like, I know I'm not. I'm not the ambassador for that. I'm not the sensitive, soft talking guy who's gonna like give you a perspective and like change your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And we need those people, and there are those people, right? That can like, be
Sell
okay
somebody.
with like the extreme left and like, try to have a discussion with them and sway them to my side. I'm not trying to do that. That's not my goal at all. I know I won't be able to do that because that's not my personality. I'm too abrasive for that. So my whole point is to let all the people out there who think like me, let them know that there are other people that think like them and that they need to voice their opinion because we're being overrun by, the other side who is getting the attention and getting the media because the media is controlled by their side, right? So that's kind of my take on it. I'll never I don't think I'll ever sway anybody's opinion on it because I'm not able to convince people like that because I come at it too hard. I come at it like from a very, in your face kind of way where
very
like
aggressive.
Very aggressive, as my kids say. Why are you so aggressive? And I'm not trying to sway anybody's opinion. I just want the people who think like me to stand up.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? And I want them to have have their voice heard and not be afraid to have their voice heard because, they are being told in mainstream media that they're like such a minority so that they're afraid and they sit back and they cower. So I want them to because we need all of us to have our opinion heard. So that's kind of where I come from on that.
Even the media tell them like you're a bad person for feeling that way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's and I think that's the thing. And you're not like, that's the way you feel. And
well, and that's
where those are your beliefs.
And you'll never walk alone.
But that's where we've gone wrong, right? We're no longer a society where when we grew up, right, we were kids, you could disagree. We could still be friends. We could still go play. But now it's not that way.
Up until 2016, you could disagree with people about politics and it was okay.
Yeah. Now it's, you're a Nazi or you're hated and there's no middle ground anymore.
There's not a middle ground. And I feel like,
and take it out of the politics space. It's like motorcycles. If you have this, everyone flips out because they don't agree with you.
Yeah, I think if we've become a nation that's so extreme one way or the other, I feel like it's like you're really, what am I trying to say? It's like there's no like middle kind of ground. Like the issues that we discuss are so polarizing now, and the issues that government has gotten involved in are so government back in the JFK days, let's just say the Republicans and the conservatives, they argued over policies that were like, financing this or financing that, and like things like that, budgets, things of that nature. Like now it's all become so social issues that I feel like it's gotten so extreme that you're talking about like morality and things like that. You're arguing abortion, you're arguing these huge hot button topic kind of issues now that I don't really believe there's a middle ground on.
But don't you think, though, with politics and everything in life, that the pendulum swings so far one way and then it eventually comes back? Because you can't, to me, in my space and who I am, I feel like we're at this point where everybody wants a label. Everybody wants attention. We talk about this in social media, where we're so far to one side, we can't continue that way. At some point, we're going to have to come back to a middle ground.
I feel like that's how it used to be. I feel like politics in general has changed so drastically and gotten involved in areas that they don't belong, that it's become a lot more about feelings and emotions than like typical political things. That I don't know that we're going to get back to that where you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm going to go into a gray area, and I'm not trying to piss anybody off because I know you guys have your feelings and I have my feelings.
All right, we'll just kick you out if it.
That's fine. But you mentioned JFK, right? There's a president. No, hold on. There's a president you look at, and whether you agree with him and you agree with the sleeping around or whatever the belief is, but the last few presidents, right? If you look at Trump, right, and it's if you look at Trump and you look at Biden, is that really the absolute best we could have done? I'm not saying that they weren't good at what they did, but I feel like we've almost wanted to, I don't know. I feel like we've almost devalued the presidency and now we've made it something that it used to not be.
Okay. Well, I think you got to come at that from expectations.
There's a lot there,
because being involved in politics and having a shot at running for any type of office it's such a big, it's bigger than just like, why are we not getting the best that we have to offer? Because there's so much to do with who's already in politics and what they're going to do for you to get you elected. Where they're going to like push you here, push you there, or not give you the funding that you need, things like that. Like there's it's such a big web now that it's not like just the best of us can't go and run for it and win like we need, because the people that are already in power pull so many strings. And I've seen this. You've seen this on your guys' podcast.
On Sean Ryan's podcast.
He was talking to the guy who was a former special forces guy who's now in politics.
It's about the indigenous populace.
And he talked about how like they instantly, as soon as you start running, like they contact you, and like if you're not willing to play ball with them, then they're not going to support you here or support you there, and you need. It's all about money now.
You need and they need you on the hook.
Right.
And that's,
so you need their help.
The play.
And if you're not willing to scratch their back, then they don't give you the help. So you cave to, scratch their back to get their help to get in. And then it's just a big tangled web. Once you get in, now you owe them something. And like you now no longer stand for what you really stood for, because now you're helping out somebody that you don't really believe in. And it's the reason Trump said drain the swamp, because it is a swamp. It is
100%.
It is such a disgusting mess of people like all helping each other out to stay rich and famous and powerful.
Both sides of the aisle.
Both sides.
Yeah.
100%.
Both sides of the aisle.
100%.
When you can die at office at 80-some years old, there's a problem.
Yeah.
90-something years old.
Well, yeah, in
It's
80s,
crazy.
90s. I was trying to be conservative.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I see what you did there. Nice.
But when you think about it too, right? You went from Trump and you went to Biden. We went to complete opposite extremes.
Yeah.
I mean, and
in a lot of ways, not just in leadership.
And I mean, I'll say it now.
In a lot of ways.
We're at the point now where it's like it's your crazy uncle at Thanksgiving, and you're not sure understand what the fuck he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and is that really the best that represents?
And the ones on the left will try to tell you, well, he's not that much older than Trump, and no, he's not. But clearly, Trump is a little more young and vibrant and cognitively intact than what we've got going on right now.
And he lives in that entertainment space, right? He knows how to fire people up.
Yeah, I think
that's a big.
This era that we're looking at is we're living through a piece of history that I feel like most people can't even wrap their heads around, because just like people don't realize that Hillary sold out the Secretary of State. She basically, commoditized the office of the Secretary of State, right? Joe Biden did that with the vice presidency, and we know it. And
it's facts.
We know it. And what the difference between Biden and Hillary is, Hillary got buried at the crossroads at a polarizing election, and Biden got lifted into office. And that's one of the big differences that we're seeing right now.
But do you think that it's always been there. I think it's just now we're more aware of it.
I don't know. I honestly, I'm sure it's always been there. I will tell you that I have trouble figuring out another political family that has something as big as the Clinton Foundation.
Oh, they're out of control. I fully agree with that.
They essentially used to gather. They used it as a pay for play. I mean, that's the Clinton Foundation is the biggest pay for play nonprofit in the world.
Her run for Senate was only a payoff for the whole Bill Clinton scandal. So,
it's I feel like this is what we're living through right now is not good, and I feel like the country needs moderacy, right? People on a whole, people like moderacy. The markets like moderacy. Our 401ks like moderacy. The housing market likes everything about, a capitalist society really likes moderacy, and we're so far from moderacy.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because moderacy does not empower politicians.
Why are we so far from it?
Huh?
Why are we so far from it?
I blame it on the left.
I mean, you can blame it on whoever you want. My opinion is that the government got involved in things that they don't belong in.
But I feel like the left did that.
Maybe. I'm trying to stay moderate here.
But listen.
My point is they got involved into moral and feeling related subjects that they don't belong in, and they've started regulating those, and that has pushed people crazy right, crazy left.
Yeah.
If they'd have stayed the hell out of those things, abortions and all these social issues that are social issues, not government issues, not, what our country was founded on issues. You let those things hash themselves out in society. It's not the government's place to decide all those things, and they've gotten involved in those, and it's pushed people far right, far left. And I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know that we're gonna come back. I feel like
I don't know. We're coming back.
My whole thing is I feel like I was moderate up until Obama. Like there were a lot of things I could have gone on either way with up until Obama, and Obama just destroyed any little bit of moderacy that I had in me.
The federal government now deals in so many things that have zero to do with the Constitution.
They have for years.
They've just pushed. It's got not really.
For 100 years at this point, they've been involved in stuff.
No, this has gotten to the point now where it's insane.
No, not really. Like what? Like what were the big? Look, 50 years ago, what was the big hot topic button that was not constitutional that they were involved in?
They were involved in alcohol. They made that part of the Constitution.
Okay.
Like they added an amendment.
Okay. This country's
social issue.
Okay, so you got one.
Alcoholism is a social issue. When was Roe v. Wade? Was that in the 70s or in the 60s that Roe v. Wade came about?
I'm not sure.
That
to me is the biggest. That's the biggest one that's been ongoing since.
Right.
Well, that writes
checks. That's the one that stemmed to so many other areas. Because it became such a women's rights type of thing where it really isn't, but it just became that calling card to separate women and for women to feel like they're being targeted and that men are telling them what to do. And that's the one that's so polarizing that there's no rationalizing that one. That's such a deep rooted, personal opinion type of thing that the government doesn't belong in.
But that's my whole point about the left is you can't take an abortion law and be like, well, that's men that are forcing their will upon women, because there's enough women in politics now.
Yeah, I know.
Number one, there's enough women in politics. Number two, everybody cried over, this last Roe v. Wade decision, which did not make abortion illegal. It didn't. If you think that, you're an idiot.
Right.
It pushed it back down to the state level, which, if you didn't know, we fought a war where more Americans died than any other war over states' rights. Mm-hmm. We all think that was about slavery, but it was more than that. It was about states' rights. So, but my point with the left is they have sat on Roe v. Wade, right? They haven't done anything. How many majorities have they had? They haven't done anything. They sat there and they kept that in their pocket so that they could use that to polarize people when they needed people polarized, when they needed to manipulate people. And that's exactly what they've been doing.
Well, nobody plays the long game better than the left.
That's exactly true.
Go ahead, Bryen.
No, I was going to say that.
You say what you wanted to say, Bryen.
The two is big things in politics.
Hold on, Bryen. Let me just get this out. I need you to know that you can say what you want to say.
Is this a safe space?
This is a safe space for Bree the Biker to go ahead and voice his opinion. So go ahead now.
The two biggest things that write checks in politics: guns and abortion. They're the two biggest money generators. And if you bring that up, every election, it's the same thing. Oh my God, they're going to outlaw guns. Oh my God, they're going to outlaw abortion. That's what gets people to write checks.
They've added one in recent years.
The difference with guns is people on the left will tell you, well, the government doesn't want to take your guns. No, you're absolutely wrong. The government wants to take your guns. They want to take all of your guns. They don't want anybody to have any guns. Mm-hmm. And if you think that, then you have no understanding of what's going on. They would love nothing more for this to be Australia right now, where the only people that can have guns are people who need to kill kangaroos. So,
well, they are pretty scary.
They are. They're pretty jacked. But still, that's not the point. They're like, well, assault rifles should be banned. Well, they've been banned since the 80s, and it was a Republican that did that. So, you could take a little class of shut the fuck up and figure out what you're talking about. I could go on
for hours on that one.
Could you, though? Hours?
I could.
I think you'd run out of things.
The thing that I think is interesting with the
seconds.
Gun argument is if you take it out of context, it's no longer an argument. Right? Like, you can buy a Corvette that does 200 miles an hour. The logical person will say, but it's okay because I'm not going to do 200 miles an hour, but you don't need it. Well, why do you need a 30-round magazine?
Well, here's the question. If you kill somebody doing 100 miles an hour in your Corvette, does the person you kill have the right to sue Chevy?
No.
Because that's kind of where we're headed.
No, and that's what I'm saying. They're going to use lawsuits to get out of market. But if you take the context that it's like the same people that want to defund the police, but then bitch that nobody shows up. Was it Pelosi, whoever's husband got attacked with the hammer?
Mm-hmm. That was a lover's quarrel.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I mean, it was what it was.
It was what it was.
That guy didn't
we'll never know the truth
show
about
up
that.
At their house in his underwear. Like,
we'll never know.
Honest.
We'll never know the truth about
what's
that.
What's the national average? 8 minutes before a police arrives. I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah. But here it's longer.
Oh, here.
I mean, out here,
I miss your house.
And I think the national average is up now, even more so since the whole defund the police thing, like big time.
I mean, that's the thing. Oh, never mind. I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole.
But it's and it's a thing. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to be a cop. It's it's not like when we were kids. I mean, you had your gripe with some of the local police who busted your chops, but over and all, it was a respectable profession. It was a noble profession. It was like being a barber in Iraq. It's a noble profession. Those guys take their job seriously. But most people aren't going to get that joke. Hey, listen, Iraqi guys give good haircuts, man. I don't care what you say. If you know, you know. Right? But, it's a
weird but true.
Weird but true. But like being a teacher was like a noble profession. It wasn't, and it drove me nuts. Like I saw Facebook posts. They basically had a skit at this year's teacher convention, and they had two cross-dressers on stage like doing the skit. And it just like, I was like, why do we have teachers working without contracts? And this is where the NGA is putting its freaking money, into, paying a couple cross-dressers to talk about story time. I can't.
Weird.
I can't. It makes me nuts.
But
And I have friends who are conservative teachers, and they'll tell you it is not easy.
it's not, but we need more conservative teachers.
Yeah.
They're all discouraged.
Well, the academic
They don't want to go
system's
into
flawed
that
as it
because
is.
it's a mess. But
Well, and that's
People that never had a real job,
that's
they go to college, then they become a teacher, but they have no real world experience.
But we've seen academia take a little like swing of the pendulum here with some of the anti-Semitic stuff that's going on right now. I mean, we've seen obviously Florida has disbanded a bunch of pro-Palestinian charters at some of their schools, but we saw lashback from, was it Yale? Was it Yale or Harvard? I think it was Yale.
Harvard.
Was it Harvard?
I think it was Harvard.
Where they had a pro-Palestinian thing, and guys from Wall Street wanted to know who were those students because I don't want to hire them. Which is, I believe in free speech, but at the same time, free speech is not without opinion.
Free speech is only free if you have the money to not care.
Well, if you have the balls to...
Free speech means you're free from recourse from the government.
Correct.
People don't seem to understand that, right?
Correct.
And that's what it means. It means you can say what you want without the government cracking down on you. Doesn't mean you can say whatever you want and be anti-Semitic and the other companies have to ignore it and not hire you, or they have to hire you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Or people have to tolerate it.
There are consequences to free speech. The whole point is that it's not from the government. You're free to speak, and the government's not supposed to crack down on you.
Well, and that gets back.
But people don't understand that. They feel like they're free to say whatever they want with zero consequences. That's not what free speech means. That means zero consequences from the government, but free market and your citizens around you still have a recourse.
Well, that's the argument that people make on social media, right? It's free speech. No, it's not. YouTube is not free speech.
Well, it is.
It's not, though. It's a business.
What is a business?
They're not obligated to
you mean
give you a free speech platform.
Because they can censor whatever they please.
It's the same with Facebook. The boomers are especially with that. Well, it's Facebook. I can say what I want.
Right. So then you
you
run into that line of what are they promoting and what are they not promoting, and that's how countries are shaped, and that's kind of where they got themselves in a little bit of trouble.
Well, and the algorithm too, right? It gives you what you want to see.
Yeah.
So people that aren't technically savvy believe that, if I believe in purple, that's all I'm seeing on Facebook. Well, the reason it is because the algorithm's steering purple to you.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a fun tangent.
I noticed that you wearing purple.
Man.
I am. I don't know where that came from.
I hate purple.
Do you? It's a Dixon. If you're a social
purple.
media biker, you got to wear a Dixon.
You're rocking a Dixon? You haven't. Yeah, you haven't. Have you? Are you even a biker if you don't ride in a Dixon? Are you even a biker?
Well, if you ride in a Dixon in the snow with your Indie Ridge boots on,
Then you're a biker.
You're definitely a biker.
Nice. There it is.
With some Bangladeshi leather.
Oh, man. But yeah, no, you're right.
What a weird tangent you guys took this one to. Like, I'm just embarrassed to be here with you guys today.
But are you?
Oh,
No,
boy.
not really. This has been interesting. And this is like one of our YouTube lives.
Listen.
That's what happens, man.
This has gone off the tangents. This has gone off the rails. This has gone.
I even
off
tried to put it back on the rails a few
hinges.
times. No.
But we never had any rails to get on. That's the problem from the get-go. Like, what rails were we on?
We're going to have Brian. What are we going to talk about? Oh, no, I sent him a text. Maybe we'll talk about this. Like, and I didn't even tell him what we were talking about. I was like, I sent Brian a text. He was like,
mental health.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
I was worried
I got my
about.
mustache going. I'm all already talking about Movember. And where it's like, so how do you feel about politics, Brian?
I thought we were going to be out of things to talk about within like 30 minutes.
Oh, man.
You think I'm that lame?
No,
Is
I
that
knew
what
we
you're saying?
could. I had faith.
So you're not a lawyer?
No.
No. Lawyers don't ask questions that they don't already know the answer to, which you just did.
Oh, man.
It's like when someone asks you what
That's
time
tough.
it is. Yes, I know. Okay. You're a lawyer now?
I'm a YouTube lawyer.
Oh, Jesus, Lord, help us.
Yeah. I am. Don't be mad.
There's lawyers out there that are going to be mad about that.
Yeah, well.
Like, no, I'm a YouTuber.
They went to
We know who they are.
some sort of liberal school and nobody cares what they think. So, Bryen the biker.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you would like to get off your chest today?
No, I think
anything that you want to cover before we wrap this up?
No, I think we're good.
Anything the people of America need to know about you and who you are?
Just me.
I don't know. Ben Salem.
Interesting.
Ben Salem. We're the Ben Salem Fighting Owls. We're really an extension of Northeast Philly. I mean, we really didn't.
Fighting Owls. So,
Fighting Owls. I can't really say much about that.
You know.
Why? Because we were the Fighting Hornets.
No, because I went to Rowan and we were the Fighting Profs and our mascot was an owl.
The profs.
The Fighting Professors. Go get them, guys.
That must have been a hell of a pre-game speech.
Yeah, we didn't focus on that so much. We just focused on being awesome like we were.
And you've continued that tradition, so you should be proud.
Life.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bryen, for noticing.
Yeah.
I tell you.
We'll give him the prize that we're not going to give him. We'll give it to him now because.
What's the prize?
I don't know. We'll find something in your kitchen.
Oh, I probably got some stale donuts down
I gotta bring my own mic. I'm taking my mic home.
There's got to be some leftovers down there we can give him.
I got some stale Dunkin'.
Whoa.
There's no such thing as stale Dunkin'.
It's because nobody knows what fresh Dunkin' tastes like.
Right there in the heart.
There goes that sponsorship. Done.
That is rough. And he was working on getting us a sponsorship for the big event.
Oh, man. So, Bryen the Biker on YouTube. You're on Instagram.
I don't spend that much time on the gram, but
yeah, you should. The gram is fun, man. Especially, I think
so
the
just
gram
YouTube.
is fun.
So you're just really half-assing it, then, is what you're saying to me right now.
I'm basically.
Okay.
I bought the It bike. It didn't help my channel, and
you got T-shirts coming out.
T-shirts are coming out. They're coming this week.
Nice. Now, are you going to be selling T-shirts? Where can people get T-shirts?
That is a very good question that I don't have the answer to.
All right. Well, if you're listening to this,
do you have an email address?
What's that?
Dedicated. Do you have an email for
the channel, but not for? See, the whole problem with that is like if you get merch, how do you sell it?
Well, here's one way. Email me at BryenTheBiker@bigwanger.com. Whatever the email is, whatever you come up with on your own. I'm not trying to influence you at all in any way, shape, or form. But then they hit you up. They say they want a shirt. Then you're like, okay, Venmo me at this blah blah blah. I'll send it to you.
I'll work on that.
I add in the cost for the shipping. You figure that out, right?
Do you have Pirate Ship yet?
Work with me. Use Pirate Ship.
Use Pirate Ship.
At home with you.
Look up Pirate Ship.
Okay.
Pirate Ship is a good website.
It's not a Peter McKinnon thing.
That's what we use.
I mean, I'll be honest. I never thought that would
print
be a
out a
thing.
label.
Seriously,
Slap it on a box.
It's kind of like when someone's like, "Could you have stickers?" Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't
write that off as a business.
I
expense.
find it very weird. That's
well,
fun.
I mean,
you gotta think big picture, bro. I mean, you gotta think big picture.
No, and I agree with that. To me, I don't see myself as a brand. I have a channel. I make content, but I don't see it
you
as
have 5,000 subscribers, right?
More than that.
Almost 10,000.
Almost 10,000.
Almost 10,000.
You're at almost 10,000 subscribers.
But 4,500 of those because people are pissed off at FedEx.
I hate to be.
Listen, you gotta
bring her bad news, but
you gotta ride the wave of FedEx haters and make the most of it.
You are a brand, and you're kind of getting to the point where if you're not already, you need to start treating it like a brand.
Oh no, you're absolutely right.
We've had this conversation,
but you have to see it from my perspective, right? My whole goal was to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I could realistically get to 12.
And what were you going to do with that?
That was my goal.
All right, so who cares what your goal was? Yeah. So what? You beat it.
Just on the fly.
Yeah, you beat it.
So now it's time to figure it out.
And again, it's not the greatest, it's not the best, but for starting out, Teespring, something like that, cost you no money.
Well, I've got 150 shirts coming.
I understand.
So
I understand
then I have
that.
to pivot from that.
But what do you? What was your?
But Teespring.
What was your plan with those shirts that you got made for you for free?
I really only wanted to give those to my members. And being completely serious.
Do you have 150 members?
No. That's what I'm saying. And my ask was, if you cover my members, it'd be really cool, and my friends.
Yeah.
So your plan with those shirts was to give them all away.
Yeah. I didn't, and then it turned into now that's going to be,
you can give them to your members, but you need to start selling some shirts.
No, I absolutely agree. But again, it wasn't.
I understand it wasn't the plan.
And think this through. Design a shirt that's not white.
Well, no, there's white, there's gray, there's a bunch of colors.
Black.
Yes, as a matter of fact, there is. That was just a tease, Bert. And you're going to get your choice of 4 colors.
Because you sent us that picture and we thought you were opening that box. I'm like, I said to George, I was like, this guy bought
fat dude's white shirts.
Got a box of white shirts and everyone that he knows is fat.
No,
and I'm like, fat guys don't wear white shirts.
I'll show you the full video where he's digging into the box. You can see all different colors.
All right.
I wouldn't wear a white shirt.
I won't wear a white shirt.
No, but
But would you wear my shirt?
Not if it's white.
Okay. What if it's black?
If it's black, I'll wear it.
Okay.
I'll
expect to see it on the next episode.
I'll put
light gray, medium gray,
it's
or
heather
dark gray, or blue, or red. I won't wear it. But if it's black, I'll wear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put my dib in for the gray.
You put your what in?
My dibs in for the gray.
Dibs. I thought you said something totally different there.
But I think it's tough to like think of yourself as a brand. I mean, it takes you got to step outside of your own box.
It's a mindset.
Yeah, you got to step outside of the box.
I don't think we always thought that way.
No,
I think in my head, I think
more
that
recent.
I feel like it took us like 15,000 subscribers or so before we were like,
I'm not there yet.
This is
but at some point,
it's
got to.
It's okay though.
You've got to
be there next year.
You got to think of things that way because now you do offer something. You do have people. You do have a base that's following you and seeing your stuff, and that is a bonus for whoever you're working with. You have to start thinking about it.
But it's weird. Like mentally, I see 100%. That. Like I contact companies and I understand the value that I can bring, but for the random person on the street to want to buy something that's branded as me, it makes no sense.
I don't think I'll ever feel normal with the people that come up to us that watch our stuff and tell us they watch our stuff and like our stuff. Like I'll never feel like.
I hope I don't.
It's like never. It never like loses its luster. You know, I'm always excited by that and like appreciative of that.
You saw that in OC. It made no logical sense to me that someone knew who I was.
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to be like, oh, look at me, but it was weird.
No, but it's okay to be. It's okay to be like.
It's okay to be okay with it.
Okay with it and excited about it, like, and that someone saw your stuff and be happy about it.
I just got to get there. That's all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's definitely.
But like you said, I'm an introverted.
That
person.
That was not the first time someone noticed you in public, was
yes,
it?
it was.
Really? Honestly, it was.
Honestly,
so that was last year.
It was different at your event, right? Because people,
so that was,
we're all starting in that circle.
That was September of 22.
Yes.
So that was okay.
You didn't go this year. So that was September of 22. People walked up to you when we were hanging out by my bike that was getting worked on and knew who you were. That was the first time in public someone knew who you were. Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's cool.
I mean,
didn't know that.
Now at your ride, people knew who I was, but I've been on your live, you've been on my lives. It's not a big jump, but to be randomly standing somewhere.
Yeah.
It's different.
I didn't know that when that happened.
It's cooler than our first time.
And I knew that you were super stoked about it and you joked because they didn't know who I was or whatever. Like, but I didn't know. But I didn't know that was like the first time.
No, it could have been anyone standing next to me that was a bigger brand than I was. It was like, what?
Yeah.
And then to be like, you bought this merch because of something you saw.
Awesome.
Like, it's surreal to me.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's funny.
It is cool.
It never gets. I personally don't think it ever gets old. And I think if it does get old for you, then you probably have lost sight of things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I hope it doesn't.
I don't want it to get old. I always want to be like very appreciative of it and like kind of blown away by people like knowing who I am and telling me that they watch my stuff. Like, what was that? Did you just break something?
Water flew out there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but it's a cool.
If I would have had a Bride the Biker water bottle.
See that? If you had Teespring, you could have a Bike the Briar.
Teespring, link in bio.
The Briar.
Bike the
Briar.
Which might actually be a cooler brand, actually. Bike the Briar.
We're going to go with Breathe the Biker. I like it.
Breathe the Buyer. Yeah. And you can just be like, you just buy stuff.
We just make cheesy videos.
Just buy stuff on video.
It's gone. It's all gone now.
It's fine. It's all fine.
Listen, you keep me around this
That's the best part about social media, right? You get those things that people latch onto. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. But, we all have those things and people latch onto it. And that's what's kind of fun.
It is fun. And it's, it's always
it gets old too.
Interesting meeting people who like know you in like 5 to 10 minute snippets. Mm-hmm. It's, I don't know. I think it's a cool thing. First time we got recognized was at the Cranberry Festival in Chatsworth.
Remember you telling me that.
So it's much cooler. At least you got recognized at a rally for the first time.
That was a rally.
The Cranberry Festival?
Cranberry rally. Those people rallied hardcore for those cranberries.
They do. They craft like no other.
And technically, I mean, wasn't that like a...
What was the first time we got recognized at a rally? Might have been Sturgis, I feel like. Like on the street in Sturgis.
Have you've done, because I know you did it in OC, but what was it like for you the first time you did a sponsored meet and greet? Like not a sponsor, but
Disaster.
had someone that
Disaster, awkward, weird, uncomfortable.
All the
I mean, think of all the weird terminology for it. It's not, I don't like them. I don't like doing them.
Because when I was going to go to Daytona and I had to back out, one of the companies that I work with approached me and they're like, well, you could do a meet and greet. I'm like, what the fuck is going to
I don't feel like we're big enough now. I don't feel like we've ever been big enough for any of the ones we've done to go do that and have enough people show up to be worth our while, to be like worth anybody's while that we would go do that. It's just weird. You go stand there and hope people show up that know who you are.
But here's the thing.
It's awkward. It's weird.
We've done meet and greets at rallies, and there was one meet and greet we did that you were getting suspension done, and we were walking around like a Daytona. Then we had like 2 meet and greets at that rally. We saw more people hanging out getting suspension done, which wasn't a meet and greet, and walking around, just in random. We saw more people there than we saw
that time at Daytona.
At either meet and greet that we did. I mean, it was like...
That time at Daytona, we had a scheduled meet and greet at Ad Van Black's tent from a certain time to a certain time.
Zero from a certain time to a certain time.
I love that video. It's one of my favorite
I
videos.
walked around that rally to get beers and drinks and stuff while he was like recording my suspension install, blah, blah, blah. I was like bored, just had to go do something. I walked around, I got drinks. I bumped into more people that are like, back to the brews, I know you, talk to people, so many people, all these people. And then we went over to where our meet and greet was from such and such a time. And like one person came over.
Crickets.
Like the whole time. Like it's like, so these people all knew, like there's people there, but they're not like making their way over to this place at this certain time to meet us like we're freaking,
So tough.
I don't know. I'm not freaking, Leonardo DiCaprio or whatever. Like they're not going to make their, plan their day around it kind of thing. They saw me, they were excited to see me. I was excited to see them, but they weren't like making their way over to our meet and greet. So like meet and greets have always just been a thing that I don't like.
I was just curious.
We've done them, but I don't want to do them.
I think our first Zero meet and greet we ran. Was the first time we met Pete's. Was his channel? Is it Pete's 1800?
Yeah, thank God he sat there and talked to us for like 45 minutes because it made it seem like we were talking to someone, the whole time. But it was like that one person that whole 2 hours we talked to.
It was great.
I just feel like it'd be me and the people at the company like, hey, so this is fun.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough thing, and I mean listen, if a vendor asked me to do it, like.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's an obligation, but
I'll go do it. But
I don't want to.
It's tough.
Like I'd rather. I mean, I've liked some of the things that we've done where we were like, we're going to be over here,
like
tonight
City.
At we're going to be at Fishtails from blah 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 blah. If you want to come by and have a drink with us, come do it. And it doesn't. I don't care at that point because I'm there hanging out with my friends anyway. I'm with my crew anyway, having drinks and having a good time. If no one showed up, I wouldn't notice. But if they do, great.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Whereas these ones at vendors, like they can be really awkward because now not only like is it deflating to your ego that no one shows up, but you're also like, oh, well, the people at Zero also noticed that no one came and it did them no good, and it's like
it's not like
beneficial to anybody.
It's not like we got paid for doing the meet and greet either. But
But I also don't want them to we're working with them. I don't want them to think that people don't like watch our stuff and don't care about us either. Like so,
for anybody that's listening, I'll be at your ride for meet and greet. So I'm will dedicate 2 minutes. I've got stickers and merch now, so I'm just gonna piggyback off the beard.
Yeah,
Be the bride.
Well, before we wrap up, I do want to plug our.
You should. I was waiting for that. Yeah. That's good.
Hopefully, if you're still watching 2 hours and 37 minutes and 51 seconds,
you'll never get back.
And Bryen is on the committee, so
yes, he definitely is. And I told him. I told him the other day. I was like, you can't mention it too much. I know we're 9 months away. But this is one of those things, man, where we just got to bring it up as many times, as early as and often as we possibly can, because we need everyone to know that it's going on. and not forget about it or lose sight about it, and hopefully they come out on the day of. But all that to say that George and I have taken on a whole new venture this year coming up in 2024 with our Baggers and Brews brand. I know that's not this brand here on This American Ride, but we can still go ahead and plug it with you guys that are listening. We have decided to take on a bit of a charity adventure, and we are dedicating the 2024 year, the entire year, to raising funds for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, which is a foundation, a charity that raises money for our military and first responders. Something that is like kind of near and dear to our hearts here up here in the Northeast, both being military brats and being very close to the 9/11 situation. So we are going to be raising money all year, and our big venture is holding a poker run and veterans support rally here in New Jersey in July, on July 13th. It's a Saturday in the middle of July. The weather will be beautiful, and we're going to have a poker run. If you don't know what that is kind of a motorcycle ride where people ride to different locations and they pull a card from a deck of cards, and you try to make the best hand that you can, and the best hand is going to win something at the end. It's a reason really for motorcycle riders to ride and to
Be charitable.
But not only are we doing this poker run, we're actually holding an event that day, the whole day from 11 to 7 p.m. at the Mount Holly Moose Lodge, number 737 in Mount Holly, New Jersey. There will be vendors selling their stuff. There will be food trucks selling food. There will be beer and alcohol being sold there. There will be music, bands of some type there playing music. We will have biker games. We will have hopefully a biker show, a biker contest type of thing. We're trying to go big or go home. We have a lot of things planned. It's in the early phases of planning, but we do have the location, we do have the charity, we do have the stops, all that stuff planned out. Now we're just kind of filling in the extras, the vendors and all that stuff. But it's going to be an amazing time, and we're going to be raising money for first responders and military and veterans. And we hope that everybody will come out and enjoy the time, enjoy the day, donate some money, and do some good. So, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I mean that's it in a nutshell. I mean, Tunnel to Towers is an awesome foundation, a great charity, and like Bert said, definitely near and dear. September 11, 2001, I was a nurse working in a hospital. My day off was immediately called in, know people who've lost family members in that. Stacy at the time was living in Hoboken. We both lived there during the reconstruction of the tower. So definitely something I feel like when you lived in this area that you're much more close to than people who might live other places in the country. And definitely I feel like an event to where we're having a generation now who did not live through that. So it's important to remind people of what took place that day.
Definitely. And we know for a fact, just from living in this world, that bikers, motorcycle riders are one of the most charitable groups of people on the planet. So we fully expect that they will show up in full force and support the cause and raise money for an awesome charity and have a great time doing it, because that's what bikers do. I will say you don't have to be a biker to come out to the event and come check it out. Check out the vendors, buy some stuff from the vendors, have some food, have some drinks, listen to the band. You don't have to do that. You can be just a patriot that wants to support a great cause. But there will be a poker run, which is a motorcycle thing that anybody's more than welcome to come do. There will be a ton of stuff on our Instagram, both This American Ride and Baggers and Brews, our YouTube on Baggers and Brews, here on all of our podcasts going forward until July. We're just going to be kind of like putting this out there a lot because we want it to be a big event and we want to raise a lot of money for this charity. So don't be surprised if you hear a lot more about it, but there'll be more details on, just specifics of what vendors are going to be there, what food trucks are going to be there, the route that's going to be for the poker run. We already know that the poker run is starting at Fielder's Pub in Hamilton, New Jersey, and ending at the Moose Lodge in Mount Holly, New Jersey. Those are like the two details we do definitely have, but there's going to be a lot more coming out. So if you're a rider, if you're a patriot, if you just want to support our men and women of the military and first responder world, come on, and you're somewhere in the area or down to travel, come on out and support it because it's going to be a good time and we'll be there so you can come say hi.
It's going to be huge.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. There's going to be people from China.
Maybe.
Get this Bible.
And all that to say, that was a huge lead up to say that Bry is on the planning committee, and that's one of the reasons that we. No, it's not really the reason we had it, but that's the only reason we brought him here tonight because we had a meeting about that and we had to talk things through.
We did.
No, but
okay.
He's trying to trivialize.
No,
I'm trying to trivialize Bry.
It's one of those things. I mean, we definitely, I feel like we have a social media community. I think obviously Bry's part of that, and Sam, Superman of NJ, is also, on this venture, with us. Yeah. So it's
Bry was when I brought this up to him, he was super into it. Thought it was awesome. Now he's taking weird photos of us, which is really
for the social media.
But he was like super excited about it. Thought it was a great idea and wanted, was like offering to help. So I'm like, well, you know what? You're going to help. You're on the committee now. So he is on the committee. He's helping us plan some stuff out. He's going to be doing some research for us, finding some hotels and things for people from out of town to stay at. We'll be posting all that stuff later on when he gets his PowerPoint presentation down. But yeah,
we haven't released our fundraising goal yet.
We haven't. We have to discuss this and do this really soon. But something like this is a really, really big venture for us. We've wanted to do something for charity for a while. I feel like both of us were afraid to do it and thought that we weren't big enough to do it. We didn't have enough support to do it. Not enough people knew us to do it. And I feel like we're now in a place where we have a good supporting cast around us of people that support us in the channel. We have connections through vendors and different things that we use and people that we know and just people willing to help us. So I feel like this is the right time, and that's why we're doing it now.
And it aligned. I mean, it's a charity. We found a charity that we're passionate about. Not that there's not lots great charities out there. There's tons of great community servants out there in the country, but I feel like this one was definitely closer to us.
Yeah.
And they're, they make a difference.
In the grand scheme of things, they're local, and and again, it hits close to home because we were up here in the Northeast. But I mean, regardless of that, if you just want to donate to military, first responders, any of that, it's not necessarily regional, but it just kind of hit home for us. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of planning to do, and that's why we have Bry. We have Sam, Superman of NJ, who we hope to have on here as a guest as well, helping us out with some of the things because it takes a lot to put something like this on. And that's why I know it sounds like if you're just listening from the outside, like, why are you talking about this 9 months out? But it's going to take every bit of that time for us to get everything organized and put on a great event. So that's why we're talking about it now. And we want everybody to know about it, put it on their calendars, mark it, be ready, because no excuses come July. Come out, support it, and support us, support military, support first responders, and let's have a great time.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's go.
Boom. That's it. What do you got to say, Brian?
I love it. I think it's a great idea. It's great to see the community come together, and I think it's awesome. It's not enough done. A lot of it's self-serving, and I think the fact you guys are doing it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's first responders are the people that leave their family to take care of yours, and I think it's easy for people who haven't or don't spin in that circle to maybe not appreciate that, not realize it, or not be in touch with it. But lots of first responders, left their homes to go to work, the morning of September 11, 2001, and never came back to their families.
Yeah, and I think the people listening to us, I think they appreciate that and understand it. Just my guess that
I would hope so.
That most of the people that listen to something like what we're putting on understand that and love giving back. So we look forward to it. It's gonna be an amazing time. I mean, it's gonna be 9 months of build up for the fastest 8 hours ever. But,
it's gonna be a damn good day.
But it's gonna be an amazing day. We're gonna be there. We hope that we meet all of you guys out there. Come out. Donate some money, put some raffles down, play some biker games, drink a couple beers, listen to some music,
record some YouTube videos.
Definitely. There's so much stuff that's going to go on with it. We've got in the works for this, but it's going to be an amazing time. I don't want to beat it to death tonight, but we'll talk about it again on the next podcast. But awesome having Bry here.
It's awesome. Thank you very much.
And we are going to have that meeting of the committee members here real soon. We're going to have to get together and discuss some things.
Do I have to pay to attend it? Or?
No.
We'll
who knows? We might even buy you dinner.
Whoa.
Let's not get crazy.
Yeah,
all right. We're probably not going to buy you dinner, but we'll have dinner with you.
Buy a small coffee.
That I pay for.
that you pay for all of us.
I'll buy you a small coffee and a Boston cream. How's that?
I like Boston cream. I like Charlie, but all right.
So listen, in all seriousness, thank you for coming on tonight and being our guinea pig guest, our first ever in studio guest. We knew that you would understand all the quirks and problems with setting this up. Which
what do you mean? This is a one-take show.
Oh, it was definitely one take. It was just quite a while before we actually hit record and started.
We got 2 cameras on top of each other.
But in all seriousness, guys, if you are someone who's over there on the YouTube space, go check out Bry, B-R-Y, the biker. Check out his channel. Watch some of his stuff. Give him some love. You said yourself you're not really... Are you on any of the other platforms?
I'm on Instagram, but I'm more on Instagram just to promote YouTube.
Check him out. Yeah, well, that's what we're all on there. Yeah. Check him out on Instagram, Bry the Biker. Just give him some love. Watch his stuff. He's got some really cool content, some good install stuff, bike stuff. Obviously, all of us, the 3 of us, when it comes to YouTube, it's motorcycle-related content.
Yeah.
So if you're not into that, we understand. But if you are, check it out. Give him a sub. Give him some support. And... yeah, man, we really appreciate you coming out here, driving out here after work on a Monday. It's Monday.
Oh, you had to remind me.
This comes out on a Friday, but this is a Monday for us recording. So we appreciate that, dude. We appreciate you just being there for us and in our endeavors. You've been a huge supporter of us and our channel and now podcast. So we definitely appreciate that.
Appreciate having me here.
Yeah.
It's like I said, if it weren't for social media, I wouldn't be sitting here. So it's pretty
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, welcome to NPR in the Pines.
Welcome. Can we talk about my sweaty balls?
As crazy as social media, YouTube, all that stuff, the internet is, and the weird people that are out there, you actually do get to meet a lot of really cool people that you never would have without it. So that is that's a check in the win column for technology.
I feel like if I didn't put out another video ever, I would at least have friends for years.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a crazy thing.
There's no doubt.
That's
a
crazy.
Great point. That's a great point. All right, we'll wrap us up, George.
Right. Well, listen, thanks for tuning in to this episode of This American Ride podcast. Remember to give us a nice 5-star rating and a little comment there. Hit that subscribe and hit that like button and ring that bell on YouTube. And if you're wondering what we all look like and you're listening to us on Apple, head on over to YouTube and maybe catch part of this podcast over there. We do video everything. So, all right. And on that note, we'll catch you in the next one.
Later.